Alrighty. Let's get the game to pop back up again. So you'll hear double music probably for a moment. Okay, now we should be good. Hello, Lemmy! How are you? Welcome in. Because I am a professional streamer, I have to get my laptop out because I started stream and forgot to have my laptop up next to me so I can see chat while I play my game. The beginning of stream is always easy because beginning of the stream I can have up Streamlabs for everything. But I gotta set up Twitch on my laptop because I forgot to do it. So welcome. How are you doing? You're good? That's good. I'm glad that you're doing well. I'm alright. I've been kinda for the past few days. Which makes sense and is valid because let's be honest, I'm gonna probably have my period tomorrow. So 50-50 chance if we will have a stream on Wednesday, just throwing that out there. Big 50-50 chance because I may have cramps and I probably will be doing work. Like actual work I can't show. So hopefully I'll get to stream, but we'll see. We'll see. But I've been very all over the place. But I'm happy because I at least got my newsletter out. Happy I was able to get my newsletter out today, which is what I wanted to do. I really wanted to get that out. I'm also trying to get like the video out on Saturday. So hopefully that happens. Go away, notifications. I don't need you up. Alright. And then we'll be good, because then I'll be able to see chat when I play my game. Which is what I very much would like to do. Would like to be able to see chat when I play. So let's just get these things up. And then we'll be good, and then I can put my glasses on. Here we go. Good. Got it. Hello, Jakara. Welcome in. How are you doing? I was telling Lemmy that I'm a professional streamer because I have forgotten to set up my laptop before stream started. So that's what I had to do so I could be able to see chat while I play the game. You know. But welcome in. Happy Monday. I hope that you guys had a good weekend, hopefully. My weekend was honestly very chill. I ended up not doing as much as I probably would have wanted to because I decided to kind of listen to my body, I guess. And I could tell I think I needed an actual weekend of just relaxing for a bit. So that's kind of what I did. I also started Cyberpunk, even though that's not actually fair to say because I technically started Cyberpunk months ago. And I got up to the actual tutorial and I stopped because I got turned off by the fact that like in the intro cutscene, everybody was like T-posing in it and it just left a sour taste. So I was like, I'm gonna restart, especially since they put out that new like update that had like more stuff because of the show had came out. So I remade my character, did it. They still T-posed in the intro cutscene. I swear, Cyberpunk 100% just wants to disappoint me. I'm convinced, but I'm gonna just push past it and I'm gonna keep playing. So I actually did the real tutorial. Like I finished the tutorial. So now I just have to play again, which means that I'm gonna start and I'm gonna forget how to play. Because I was terrible at the tutorial. Oh my god, I was so bad at the tutorial. I feel like I'm gonna suck when I actually start like playing through Cyberpunk. Oh my god, I'm so bad at it. Hacking is so much more like intense than I thought that it was gonna be. Like I'm so used to like hacking in video games just being like little beep beep boops and like super quick, and I gotta like really pay attention to what I'm doing when I'm hacking. I'm like, oh no, I'll be good with this. So we're gonna see. But I'm playing Cyberpunk off stream because yeah, I needed something to play off stream. And I mainly started because like I actually am like really liking Steel Rising now. So after I played it on Friday, I really wanted to play more, but I didn't want to stream, and I didn't want to play that game off stream because even though it's kind of like a Souls like or whatever, like because it's made by the people who made Greedfall, I know it's going to be very story intense, and I don't want stream to like miss out on the story since I made that like our Friday game. So I needed another game to play similar to Steel Rising that had a story, so I could play that when I want to play Steel Rising and I can't. So that's what I did. Also, hello Lenny. I'm doing good. I went to a party and got drunk for the first time. Never realized I was only ever buzzed before. Oh, how did that go? How was that? Did you have fun? I know personally for me, I don't like getting drunk. That's a me thing though. One, I'm a lightweight anyway, so like once I hit like 3 drinks, I'm done. But I don't really like it because one, I have this, there's this thing where I just really don't like being in control of like what I'm doing. So like if I get drunk and I can't remember stuff, it freaks me out. It freaks me out so badly. I do not like not remembering things. And I also don't like hangovers. Hate hangovers. Even when they're like the lightest of the lightest of the light of hangovers, I don't like them. Don't like them. So I only, if I drink, I try to do like maybe 2 max, and that depends on like how strong the drink is. Or else I only drink 1 and I drink like water and eat food because I really don't like that feeling. I drunk text people for the first time, woke up to get confused messages from people. Oh man, did you have fun at least? I like a solid buzz myself. 3 drinks is about perfect. Yeah, like a buzz is cool, but sometimes I'm so light, sometimes I try to not even go for the buzz because it's so easy to shift accidentally. And sometimes once I get to like a buzz, then I just start enjoying the drinks and I just want to drink it because it tastes good. And then that's it. So I'm like, I don't want to do that. I can't remember the night from like 1 to 3 a.m. But after that, I was sober until I went home at 10 a.m. I did not sleep, so no hangover. Well, you got lucky. You got lucky. I could not sleep and I'ma still have one. I'ma still feel terrible the next day. But that's good. Well, at least it seems as though you still enjoyed yourself. It doesn't seem like you're saying anything negative about the party. So I think that's good. As long as you had fun and you were with people that like hopefully you trusted, then that's awesome. I hope that you keep having fun. Just make sure to still be responsible. If you do get drunk again, make sure you always have somebody with you that you trust. So that you can be okay and you can get home. Not me sounding like an older sibling now. But I care about you guys, so I have to. I'd be wrong if I didn't say this stuff. So, but yeah, but it seems like you had a good weekend. That's good. That's really good. This week is gonna be very busy for me, so please pray for me because I'm gonna have cramps for half the week and I still got work I gotta get done. So, Tuesday and Wednesday ain't gonna be very fun for me. Or Thursday. Not gonna be a fun 3 days, these next 3 days. But I'ma take some medicine and hope for the best. Hope. Also, hello, hero. How are you? Welcome in. Let me give you a shout out. Do. Even though I was drunk, I told my friends to not let me drink any more alcohol, so even when I'm not in control, I know not to push myself. Cool. I'm watching this on mobile and your message just shows as it being blank. Oh, that's so weird. That's so weird. It's just so emo, by the way. But yeah, but I think that that's always good to still like communicate those types of things to your friends so that everybody can be on the same page. That's always good. And then they can look out for you, you know? So, as long as you have fun, and as long as you're with your friends, and y'all had a good time, and I'm happy. Seems like it was good. So, but yeah, I didn't really do. Ooh, one thing I did do this weekend. I'm very excited about it, and I'm pretty sure that like my players aren't here, and like honestly, even if they are here, like this is not done, so they're not gonna know what the heck I'm showing anyway, really. But I started trying to map out my map for D&D for my like little world. Well, one of the continents of the world in which I have. Like, so I started attempting to like figure out map stuff. Like I said, they don't know what this is. Like, even if any of my players are here, y'all don't know what's going on. Y'all don't understand what's happening on this map. But I started to draw it, and I'm very excited. So I'm gonna keep doing it. What I did was I had it before, like I had it on like the website thingy, but I was having actually a hard time on the website, and I think it's because not because like the website isn't good. I think I was trying to be too definite while attempting to figure things out. So I printed it and drew the map shape or whatever on some paper, because now I can like sketch and erase it, and then I figure after I get it to like a state I actually like, then I can go into the website and like actually draw it the way that I like, you know, like with all the little images and things like that. So that's what I think I'm gonna do, because I think being able to like use paper and pencil and eraser is helping, because I can actually get my mind, like my ideas out, and like if I put something down and I don't like it, I could just erase and I don't have to like refine all of those like map assets or like figure out the map asset stuff is really cool, but it's a lot when like you're figuring stuff out. So thank you for the shadow. Hope you've been well. I've been alright. I've been good. Can't really complain. This past week or so has just been a kind of bleh week. But you know, sometimes it happens. They happen. Aside from that though, it's been pretty decent. I've been using my planner, which I'm very excited about. So I've been very organized. I've been able to be very, very organized and get my stuff together a bit. But I have been slightly stressing out because I have a lot of things coming up. Some of the stuff you guys will end up finding out about eventually. So you guys will see. I'm hoping I didn't spread myself too thin in some areas. So we'll see how that goes. But aside from that, we today are going to be playing some Ghosts on the Shore. Anybody who was here last week would know that we finished Rumu, and then when we finished Rumu, the last hour of stream, we started up Ghosts on the Shore. And Ghosts on the Shore, so far, we're still in the very beginning, but so far Ghosts on the Shore is about a woman, I forget her name because I'm bad at names anyway, but she went off sailing and she got kind of like stuck in a storm. And when she got stuck in a storm, she was looking for land and she found land, but as she got closer to the dock of this island, a voice went into her head. We're assuming that the voice is a ghost, considering it's called Ghost on the Shore. So we're assuming that the voice in our head is a ghost, and we're basically trying to understand what happened on this island. Like, why we don't see any people, why everything looks like it's been evacuated or destroyed, and we're pretty much just trying to understand this village. So, it's gonna be a very chill and cozy stream, because this game is basically like a narrative walking sim. So think of like What Remains of Edith Finch or even Firewatch. It's like that type of story. So lots of dialogue, lots of picking two dialogue options or whatever, and a whole lot of finding articles and reading articles. Welcome in, Warrior. Thank you for the raid. How are you doing today? Let me give you a shout out. You actually kind of have perfect timing because we're about to get into Ghost on the Shore, and I was kind of like explaining what we've done so far because we're still in the very beginning of the game. So how are you? How was your weekend? What were you playing? Feel free to let me know. Fighting for my life to get this game to run for me. Wait, what game? Also, thank you for the hydrate, Lemmy. One thing I will say to preface things is for some reason I feel like today is one of those like days when I get out of breath. So I will more than likely be trying my best to read things carefully and slowly so that I don't like accidentally put myself out of breath, because it is a lot of reading. It's gonna be a lot of reading. So that's why I say it is very much a narrative game. It will be lots of dialogue. It is voice acted though, which is very helpful. So it's a lot of dialogue, picking quick options for what to say, but then a lot of reading because there is a lot of like walking around and finding articles and reading articles or reading blurbs or notes and things like that, because we're pretty much trying to figure out what happened on this this island, like why it's there, you know? So it is an indie game. If you would like to check it out, you can feel free to lurk. But now I'm gonna actually like say like the actual stuff that we found so far to like get us back up to speed. But okay, cool. I played Dynasty Warriors. Oh, you played Dynasty Warriors? Oh my goodness, I used to love Dynasty Warriors when I was younger. I've been saying to myself I should probably like try out Dynasty Warriors again, even though I kind of heard that like one of the latest Dynasty Warriors weren't that good. But oh my god, I used to love Dynasty Warriors back on like the original Xbox. I think when my brother had it. Oh my god, I used to bother him because he didn't even like Dynasty Warriors as much as I did. But he knew that that was a game that I liked, so he forced himself to play hours of Dynasty Warriors with me because I loved it. I loved Dynasty Warriors. I could play it for hours. I remember when I was younger, I was so proud when I was able to like start to like go through the levels without my brother. That was a big thing for me when I was younger. Like I didn't have to have him there to be able to like go through the mobs of the enemy. Oh, I loved it. I loved it. I haven't played in years though. There was this one level that I remember that like, I don't even remember it fully, but I just remember there was a level I liked where you like inside of like, maybe you were inside of like a castle or a mansion or something. All I know is you were indoors and I loved it. That was my favorite. And I think it was because you had the walls. So even though like, yeah, the fields were cool, but sometimes I liked doing the hordes when you were inside of like enclosed buildings because it made it a little closer. So you felt cooler being able to do like area attacks because like they were everywhere. So you always could do an area attack. Oh, I loved it. It was so good. I didn't know if you were starting or ending. Yes, I'm starting. I'm in the beginning. So you are good. You are fantastic. I played since 4. I was obsessed. Oh yeah. I had 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. I don't remember which one my brother had. I just remember we had Dynasty Warriors. I still technically have the case, but it's inside of my drawer. I just remember we had Dynasty Warriors. And there was honestly a few different games that I used to love playing as a kid. Then like when I got my own systems, it's like I forgot that technically I could buy those games. Like, I loved, for example, I loved Soul Calibur. My absolute favorite fighting game when I was younger. Soul Calibur and Dead or Alive. And for some reason, I got older and I got like my own systems and stuff, and I forgot that I could technically, you know, get Soul Calibur or like Dead or Alive and play them. I just forgot about whole genres. Or like racing. I don't own any racing game, but I used to play them all the time. So it's like stuff like that. I tried to get some fighting game, and then I realized, wait, I can't get all of these fighting games because some of these games is hard. I got Skullgirls. It's cool, but man, that game is hard. So who knows? Maybe one day I'll get like Soul Calibur, like Dynasty Warriors again. But that's awesome. It's a very satisfying game. It's a very satisfying game. But also, in case you are going to stay, if you do need to raid and run, definitely understand if you need to alert, get some food, use the bathroom, have a screen break, all that stuff. I definitely get it. Oh, you were playing Genshin, Jakara. Oh, good luck with that. I hope your Wi-Fi starts working. But to catch you up to date, we're about to play some Ghost in the Shore. What we found out the last time we played, we only played about an hour. So far, all we kind of know is that the island that we landed on, we're not stranded on it technically. We have a boat. We know that our boat was made in 1995. We don't know when we bought it, or at least if we do, I missed that piece of description on our like receipt of our boat or whatever. But we bought this, our boat was made in 95. We don't know when we bought it, but we know at least it had to be after 95, right? And we bought it from a person. Like, I don't think from like a manufacturer. I believe we bought it from like somebody who already had a boat. And we also know that the last ferry that left this island, the Rogue Islands, that's where we are. The last ferry that left the Rogue Islands was in like 1989 or something. Like, it was in the 80s. And that was the absolute last ferry that left the island. We also know that it seems as though there probably have been very bad storms, and that's probably why there was an evacuation, because when we arrive at the dock, all of those like little shipping stores and stuff that would be on the dock are all destroyed. All destroyed as if there was like some type of massive wave or really bad storm that came and messed them up. The only problem so far that I'm dealing with, which is making me curious, is the fact that we know that the last evacuation was like in the 80s or whatever, but we're also finding articles and letters from like 1880 inside of cabins and houses, as if those were the last tenants. But like, why would the last tenants of these places that was last evacuated in 1980 be from the 1880s? Unless it's been a constant evacuation and just like nobody's been going there from the mainland or something. But that part's been weird. So that's the part that I've been confused about. But also we do know that the island was at least under control of the crowns, which are the people in charge or whatever, the crowns, and that they came for the mainland and stuff. But that's kind of all that we know so far. Oh, and then we also know that there is something about like wisps, the will-o-wisps, and how if you see a will-o-wisp when they're blue, they're friendly and they like have spirits in them and they want to show you someplace. But if you see a will-o-wisp while they're yellow or something, that's when they're in a very mischievous mood and it might not be the best to follow them. So that's kind of all we found out. Like I said, we only played maybe an hour. We don't know too much yet. I don't remember our companion's name, our ghosty companion, and our head's name yet, but we do know that so far he, as far as I know, he doesn't fully remember what happened to him. So I think that's also part of the mystery, is trying to figure out who this man was, because one of the houses we went into, it triggered a feeling or a thought in him, and we were like, well, then maybe if you knew this person, then that means you had to be from the 20th century, because this person was from like 1980 or something. Like their like mother, or like the person that they see as a mother, was trying to get them to go to the mainland on the last ferry. And like we said, the last ferry was in the 80s, and they didn't go. Which means that that person stayed there and might have possibly died in the 80s or sometime after the 80s. Which means that that guy probably was alive back then, or at least like in that time period, maybe. So right now, that's kind of where we are. We're all over the place. We don't fully know what's going on. Everything's kind of just a hodgepodge of stuff, and we're still figuring everything out. And then there's this other guy that is from like the 1800s, and he keeps leaving notes inside of bottles for his son, but he keeps leaving them all around the like the island. So yeah, that's where we are. So that's where we are right now. And yeah, so I'm gonna get this thing started. I'm going to also start to get a little more relaxed, because like I did say before, I could tell that today is a day where I can feel where I have to be careful, because I might lose my breath while talking. I'm gonna try my best to read slow and steady, so I don't accidentally lose my breath while reading. And I do have my glasses, by the way, because I'm gonna have to put them on so I can actually read chat, because I'm not gonna be able to see chat on my laptop. I can only read it here because it's on my monitor at the moment before I switch over to the game. But once we switch to the game, I'll put my glasses on. Oh, that's really cool. I'll definitely be lurking. I gotta fix something to eat, but I'm here for this. No problem. And definitely go get yourself some food. Thank you so much for coming by with the raid and, you know, hanging out. I always appreciate seeing you, warrior. So let's get this going. Actually, let me take off my headphones for a second and put on my glasses for a moment, so that hopefully my head won't hurt when I get my glasses on. Sometimes if I put my glasses on while my headphones are already in, that's a sure way to already make my head hurt. You know? So, bad enough I gotta have glasses on with headphones, so might as well start to fix it. So, we're gonna pull this up. We're gonna turn off this music, because we don't need that anymore. And then we're gonna swap on over to live and get going. Alrighty. Now, I think I was using controller the last time I played. I was gonna use mouse and keyboard, but there was like certain little things that for some reason I didn't, because I didn't start off with mouse and keyboard, it didn't show me how to do those things. So there's still a couple things that I didn't know how to do, and I didn't feel like looking at the controls. So far, at least for now, we're gonna keep using mouse and keyboard. I just had to move the cord because my cords are a little messy today. My whole life is a little messy today. Let's be honest. Let's be real for a second. Get comfortable. And yes, I know if you see behind me something that looks messy, I'm an artist. I'm sorry. That's my art cart, and I just haven't put it back underneath my desk. Sue me. I apologize. Let's get a little more comfortable. Oh, Calamity! Hello! How are you doing? Should I still give you should I give you a shout out with this username, or should I not? You can let me know. But hi, Calamity, how are you doing? Welcome in. We're about to start Ghost on the Shore. Well, not start, but like We played an hour of it on last Monday, and we're gonna play some more. So, cool, no problem. So, yeah, but it's like a walking sim narrative game. Think like Firewatch or What Remains of Edith Finch. It's like that type of vibe from what we remember. So yeah, that's what we're gonna get into. Nice thing though is just like those two, it is voiced, which is always helpful. But it's still gonna be a lot of reading because there's still a lot of like notes and articles and things to find. And the newspaper clippings actually are pretty, seem like they're kind of important to the lore, so I've been reading those. Oh, thank you for the follow with this account. Yeah, let's see what we're gonna do. We're gonna get into this and see what happens. Oh, we love some Tiffany blue. I like blue too, though. I like most shades of blue, so I'm very generic about it. I'm always just like, yeah, I like blue. Oh, come on. They better had saved me going inside of that house. What are the buttons again? I don't remember. Okay. I swear to God. It did not! Okay, so we gotta go back into the house. So I will reread some things for you guys. I mean, in a way, it works, because then you guys get to see some of the stuff that we saw from the last time. Because it did not save. Let me stop. Thankfully, it didn't, like, if it didn't save, like, more, I'd be very pissed, but thankfully it's just this house. Like, the last time that I played, I stopped, I went through the whole house, and then I stopped here. And this was where I was planning to start back. We're gonna go in, we're gonna look at everything. So it can all appear inside of my journal, because as you can see, she actually has a journal that she does update, so I try to make sure I go in and read her journal. So she does actually update it. Which is nice. I always like the characters that have a journal that they really do stuff with. Book of the Sea. A detailed introduction to seamanship and nautical knowledge that covers everything from tying knots and mooring to charts with tidal streams and mathematical tables for astronavigation. Theory and illustrations are interspersed with fascinating stories of boatmen sailing the high seas. This book will bring the reader to recognize the craft and material needed for a safe navigation of these great waters. I like the way the text works. Which, by the way, there is actually a button to read it, so like, you could see it in regular text.
I'd love to see the world.
You will.
What's that engraving there?
For Beatrice.
Walking the Rogues. And the Rogues is, the series of islands that we happen to be on. Rogue Islands, the Big Rogue, Little Rogue, and the Dark Rogue, a guide for hikers. The Rogue Islands are one of the last unexplored mysteries of the world, and a hiker's paradise. Trails traverse these rocky islands, allowing spectacular ocean views and opportunities to spot unique flora and fauna. Remains of the once thriving farming community peek out from beyond the trees. Traveling through these islands requires know-how, grit, and a good map. This comprehensive guide will provide 2 of the 3. The grit is up to you. Happy trails.
Cordelia Crown. Haven't seen her in a while. She was nobility, and a big deal right here.
And that must be where the money came from.
Aye, they owned the Rogue Islands.
Also, feel free to let me know if you can hear the dialogue. If you can't hear the dialogue, please let me know, and I will go in and try to fix the audio.
It's locked. Where's the key? Beatrice
Beatrice.
Parker. Headmistress, I guess?
And this must have been her office.
The Legends of the Will-O-Wisps. On the Mysteries of the Rogues. Granther Willow's lantern, or more familiarly, the Will-O-Wisp, tends most often to reside in the vicinity of ponds and in the bogs, or moors of our beautiful countryside. On occasion, I don't know why I was about to say on ocean, on occasion, a lone traveler has caught glimpses of these remarkable glowing lights in our catacombs, or graveyards, or even among our many ruins. The wisp prefers to haunt areas of lonely desolation. One will never spot its soft light on London's busy streets. However, should you in your country travels come across a will-o-wisp, fear not. These fantastic creatures are benevolent and capricious in nature. I don't know what that word is. I'm guessing good. Or at least they are when spotted during daylight hours. Once the sun has set and the sky has darkened, beware. The will-o-wisp may turn to more devilish pursuits. Tales tell of poor souls led to their rocky ends as they pursued the taunting glow. It is best to follow the advice of one elderly woman with whom I spoke. Only approach a will-o-wisp when its hue is a soft blue. Then the wisp is said to be at peace and will cause you no grief. The only fashion too, and it's cut off. Les, hello! How are you doing? Also, Happy New Year! It's been a bit. How have you been? Good evening, at least for me. It's nighttime over here, too. I'm not sure what time it is over where you are, but at least over here, it's like 7 p.m. And I'm doing pretty good. How are you doing? And then her child's handwriting, it says Devil Pawns. Okay. Well, now we have the key.
Yeah, that's them all right.
All right.
Cordelia Crine. And Nora Crine.
You ready for... Oh, it's late for you. Can't sleep? Alright, time for some reading. The Rogues Gazette. Because the reason I read the newspaper clippings is I actually feel like it does help us figure out, like, more about the island and how it is. So that's why I'm going to still read them for you. Weekly publication from Sunday, August 6th of 1820. Landing of the Crown. So we know that they came in 1820. When Peter Crown purchased our beloved islands this past winter, he sincerely reflected upon the management of his predecessors. Mr. Crown declared his desire to avoid past mistakes, ensuring better times ahead. Mr. Crown may have referred to better times, but his true intention was better profits for the Crown family. Never once did he consider the islanders, their homes, their children, or their future. The hopes we had let flutter were dashed upon our rocky shore. Rents remained too high, wages remained too low, and stomachs remained empty. Mr. Crown disappeared back to the mainland, and we continued to suffer. But now, with the unannounced arrival of Mrs. Cordelia Crown and her daughter Nora, the Rogues may have finally begun a new chapter. The Crown women sought relief from the hot mainland summer and found refuge at the lake by the lodge. Both have been spotted strolling around the island and visiting our folk. Nora has even made an appearance at music night and is expected to show at the summer prom. I would like to urge us all to be considerate, but also to refrain from too much anticipation. History has proven to repeat itself. The Crown women may, like their predecessors, dig for gold at the expense of the fine folk who inhabit these islands. They may resurrect the fences about the lodge and keep us from our rightful lands, but it is difficult to prevent hope from once again fluttering in our hearts, and to think pre-chance Nora Crown will make all the difference. George Blake. Music Festival, the second music festival of the summer season, was celebrated Saturday last. The festivities began with a sermon preached by the Reverend Mr. Chester before a numerous audience. Hymns were then sung by the ladies' choir. Mr. Andrews, esteemed organist, accompanied the choir and played several solo pieces. Many of the Rogue Island's talented youth also lent their voices to the festival. After the music, an excellent supper was provided by the ladies of St. Mary's. And then Mrs. Evanston begs leave to inform the public that in conjunction with her son-in-law, Fred Chrisman, she will be auctioning off 3 horses. The horses in question are fine beasts and have served the family well. The said auction will be held at the Evanston farm, occurring August 10th at the hour of 10 o'clock. Alright, so we know that in like 1820, the crowns came to the island. So that's when they came. They came in 1820. That was a long time ago. Oh wait, we didn't actually go into Final Chapter, I think. Everything is great. I'm certifying as an assistant manager next week. A lot on my mind, and of course insomnia with my favorite streamer. Aw, I appreciate that. But also congratulations. That's pretty awesome that you're gonna become assistant manager. So congratulations. Alright, let's see. Will-o-wisps. Will-o-wisps are tiny fairies or fairy lights or spirits. You can see them floating in the night sky. Some people say they are dangerous. They are really, really beautiful. They glow and shine. Sometimes, travelers will see them and follow them instead of following a trail. They can follow them right off a cliff. Or they can follow them into quicksand. Or they can follow them and be eaten by a bear. Sometimes, boats will see them and they will crash into rocks. Rebecca from the grocery store saw them, but she did not follow them. She was too smart. Some people do not believe Rebecca, but I know she really saw will-o-wisps. People also think will-o-wisps are bad. I can see why. If it leads you into quicksand, that is not being very nice. But I think will-o-wisps are really the spirits of people who are missing. Or maybe they are ghosts. But I think they were once people, and they are trying to talk to the people they miss. If we could understand the will-o-wisp, we would know they are trying to tell us they miss us, and they want to come home. Pixie, I must say I am rather disappointed. I thought we decided fairy tales were not the subject of this essay. Your assignment was to choose an item from the environment of this island, and to describe and analyze it scientifically. Imaginary spirits are not science. That teacher's upset. They got some will-o-wisp stuff. Let's see this journal. Okay. Beatrice Parker was a school teacher. Beatrice, something so lovely about that name. I wonder if I can learn more about her. Halls of Ivy, I know enough about the world to know you should never trust bright lights that beckon you to follow them. But what do you do when one has taken refuge in your mind? I am undone. And then those are the will-o-wisps, I'm assuming. Halls of Ivy. The Crown family bought these islands for Delia, Peter, and their daughter Nora. They left the city on the mainland to come live in these wild lands. Though the lodge may not be as wild as what I've seen so far, where is the lodge? Oh. Alright. Thanks, I've been surrounded by a lot of positive energy lately. I think I'm finally moving on. I even have a chance to visit Miami this summer, so I'm saving money and looking for a good flight opportunity. That's awesome, Les. I'm very happy for you. It really does seem like you have a lot of positivity going on right now, so that's really good to know. I'm very, very happy to hear that. That's so awesome. I hope that if you do get to go to Miami, I hope you have a fantastic time. I hope you have like
You must have attended school there too, as a child.
I never went to school. I learned to read and write, but not up there.
You don't remember who?
I do remember the book.
What book?
About this guy, and this girl, and then they killed him.
Sounds like you didn't really care for the book.
I did, actually.
Oh god, what's that?
That's a
What?
will-o-wisp.
That!
That's a will-o-wisp if I've ever seen one.
What are you waiting for?
I'm going. I'm looking for things
I need to
found
see
in the
what that is.
rocks. I found other notes in the rocks. Let me live, Josh, okay? Oh, it's a ghosty ghost. Hello, ghosty.
Hello. Oh god.
Really, this is going to sound silly. I guess I'd like to
I'd
actually.
like to ask you.
You can't be.
I'm sorry.
Why are you here?
Oh, I don't know. I didn't mean to be here.
I don't understand.
I don't understand either. No, don't go! Well, that was rude. Who was that?
Was that a ghost?
Is that a tinge of fear I detect there?
Well, I've never seen a ghost before.
You are a ghost.
Well, I can't see me, can I?
Honestly.
It's like, oh my goodness, a ghost! Who cares that I just decided to inhabit your mind randomly after I've already died, and I'm probably a ghost too.
She seemed spooked, though she's the ghost. And then just breaking off the conversation like that. That's just rude.
You should find her. Talk to her again.
The environment in the game reminds me a bit of islands from Raft. Oh yeah, it does. It does.
Oh my god. This beach. It's dazzling.
What, the water and the sand?
Look at the color of the sand. Like that perfect Welk shell wall paint.
Wall paint?
Yeah, it's one of my favorite pins.
You have a favorite pin?
I was putting together a board on how I wanted to redecorate my boat. You don't know social media. Never mind.
He's old, Riley. Give him a break.
Oh, wait. This is where that old woman lived. What a tragedy. Ethel. She lost her entire family to the fever. Husband. And all 3 girls.
Oh, that's sad.
Oh, that's horrible.
Fairies of Fire by Hannah Little. Let's read. Fairies of Fire by Hannah Little. Once upon a time, there was a fairy that lived on the island. Her wings were made of fire, and they were so bright everybody could see them. One night, a girl catched the fairy and put her in the jar. Because in the night, it got very dark on the island. The fairy cried a lot, and the tears filled the jar. So she was swimming in her tears. I'm so happy they kept the misspellings of the words in the text so that you could actually read it, because it helps still get the feeling of what you're reading. Since I can't really read the writing well, so I'm happy they still put the misspellings. That's so adorable. Oh, look at her little drawings. So cute. The art is so cute, and I love the sparkles. I know, it's so nice. By Henry. I'm assuming Henry's the artist. Oh. Dear Pixie, I'm so happy that you teached me to read and write. I am writing a book. It is a lot of fun. I love stories. I read it to Fanny and Louisa. I am a teacher too now. I teach Father to write his name. He's really good. Thank you, Hannah. Oh, good talk.
Ugh, this This is the freakiest doll I've ever seen.
Have a little respect. That is a beautiful doll.
Have a little respect. Alright, let's see what stuff we've gotten. I've never been one to believe in magic until now. Maybe fairies really could exist on these islands. Who is missing? There's definitely something missing in this picture. Like, who is the baby sitting on? A sense of an ending. Ethel and Henry. What happened to them? How did they die? Oh, I missed something.
Is this actually a football? It looks ancient.
Oh, I missed a bunch of stuff, actually.
There's so little of that on the islands these days.
There's the rest. Okay, now we have the actual family. So I was like, I'm missing something. Okay.
Back at the school, you said you wanted to travel. And you sounded sad.
It's silly, really.
I love silly.
I used to think I was going to dance around the world, on every continent, in every country.
You don't think that anymore?
I had to grow up.
Why? You're not going to answer me?
I don't have to answer you, and just so you know, I did answer. I shrugged.
Like, with your shoulders? I can't see your shoulders.
Tough luck. I'm done talking about this.
There's just so many different little things all over the place. I can't help but try to walk around everywhere.
Why aren't you afraid of me? It might be the more sensible thing to do.
I should be afraid, I guess. But I'm not. I guess I don't truly believe it's real yet. All of this. You.
That's so funny. Last time I heard that, I fell off my dinosaur.
Did you just make a joke? A terrible joke at that. This is hard. You try exploring an island with a roomie that won't shut up for a second.
I am, actually, and it's not even my room. You call all the shots, I just have to shut up and sit it out?
Never thought of it like that. But it was you who decided it was a good idea to take up lodgings in my head. And I'm done talking about it.
I just hope that they weren't talking while I needed to find stuff and that like it didn't make some of the blue go away. I'm assuming there might not be anything I need here. I just still checking just in case. Because the last time I walked into like the grass and stuff, I randomly found notes. Ooh, a bench. See? See? Found another cassette tape.
Here's another one.
Let's play it. I like listening to her voice.
I feel
Hi,
justified.
diary. I like sitting here. Reminds me of when I was a girl. You see, there were horses here. You can still see their pen and their stables. Secretly, I like to name them and imagine what it must have been like to ride them on that beach there. There would have been a Black Beauty, of course. God, I love horses. They're so wild and free. And when I was riding them as a girl, I felt the same. Wild and free. The wind blowing back my hair, the thundering hooves. Why did that feeling ever stop? And why did I think I'd find it here? The horses are long dead. And I'm trapped. On this island. In my head. With him.
I remember those horses. And the Evanstons. We leased a horse from them whenever we had a cargo that needed to go over the hill.
We?
The islanders.
Who is she stuck with? Is she stuck with Josh?
There's something odd about that house upon the hill.
I thought you liked it.
I do. But it must be at least 19th century.
I see what you mean. It withstood the test of time. There's more buildings like that.
How is that possible? Why? And so many things were left behind.
Anything you fancy? You can keep it.
Never. Can't take what's not mine.
It's not like anybody's gonna need it. Maybe the islands kept these things safe for you to find.
Don't be daft. You mean the rogue islands lured me here?
I'm not saying anything. I'm considering some options.
This was the Evanston's farm that he was talking about. I wanted to go into this building just in case.
Beatrice.
What about her?
I think that school was her safe place.
Safe from what?
No.
Was she in danger?
Place to keep her things safe. Tokens of the past or something.
I can see that.
I'd like to know more about her.
Alright, now we can go on the path. I wanted to make sure there wasn't anything else to find.
I keep thinking about Cordelia Crown.
Why? Who is she?
She was this older woman with a lot of money.
Did you have an affair?
Of course not.
Wait, do you hear that?
No, what?
Why can't you hear it?
Are you sure?
Yes, I'm sure.
What a...
Oh, fuck. What's that?
Oh, come on, honey. I want to drink this tea while it's still hot.
Mom, did you know that Rebecca from the grocery store has seen a will-o-wisp?
Has she?
Have you ever seen one?
No. Cheese or haddock sandwich?
Cheese, please. Just maybe Daddy's turn into one. A will-o-wisp, I mean.
Now you know that's not true. Daddy left. I know it's hard, but we have to accept it.
Just maybe is all. I asked Miss Jessup about will-o-wisps, but she said they're poppycock. She said there are no such things as ghosts who drift along the marshes. And the sooner I let go of such romantic notions, the better.
Oh, well, she might be right about that one.
Riley, what was that? Did you do that?
I'm not sure.
Excuse
Was
me?
it real?
I saw them too, if that's what you mean.
Who are they?
I remember the little girl, Pixie,
Pixie.
always running around the islands looking for adventures, discovering new clues to grand mysteries. Her words, not mine.
So one thing so far that we've noticed. So that is one. The same kid that talked about Rebecca that went to the grocery store and saw will-o-wisps, which means that Pixie is the one that wrote the little note on will-o-wisps with the picture inside of the school building. But also Hannah wrote to Pixie about how she was going to have, like, how she was now a teacher and all of that stuff. She wrote that to a Pixie as well, which would probably mean that she wrote to Pixie when they were older instead of a child, you know? I'm assuming. And I'm guessing their dad died, like her dad died or something, and she thinks that he's a ghost in the form of a will-o-wisp.
Did you see that little girl?
I did.
Daddy left. Those words must haunt.
I wish my dad had left.
Why?
Because he was a horrible person that made my life a living hell.
That's a good reason.
Yours?
Same bullshit, I'm afraid.
No benches over here. Okay, good. Oh, what's this? It's like a grave? It is.
There was an epidemic.
The fever. That's what killed Ethel's entire family.
Must have been a nightmare.
Did I miss anything? Okay. Somebody dead. I really do not like graveyards. Who does? Not me.
A graveyard. We need to investigate this.
You're a detective now.
Oh, stop it. You know, the names, the dates. We should take a look.
Alright, which one of y'all are gonna sparkle up blue for me? Oh! You have Nora Crown and Cordelia Crown.
Nora Crown.
Doesn't that sound vaguely familiar to you?
It does. Her name was in that
1855.
newspaper article we found back at the school.
And Cordelia Crown passed away in 1833.
Cordelia Crown. We know all about her.
Callum Compton.
Look at the date. 18th of June, 1833.
Same as Cordelia Crown. You think there's a connection?
It's possible.
Alright, so I gotta look for the ones that actually have names on them. There's an actual name.
Scruff.
Died in 1944. That's late.
Oh no, we're not leaving yet. We ain't leaving yet. I want to assume that. Oh wait, no, there's another guy with a name. Okay. He was a fool, but Francis loved him. Oh, this was even Evanston. Surprised I can't click it since it does have writing. His was 1827.
Archie, that sounds so sweet.
I have left the troubled ocean.
That doesn't sound so sweet.
We have Oliver Wilford. Who else we got in here that I can click? Disappointed but never surprised. I feel that for that one. Cast a cold eye on life, on death, horsemen pass by. Thaddeus Cook.
Oh, I remember him. Bad news, that guy.
How so?
Smuggler, I think.
And then Ethel Little.
Softly at night, the stars are shining on you.
Ethel. She lived so much longer than her family. She was so strong. I don't know how she managed.
Now they put the Sprouse twins in here.
Dylan Sprouse.
A constable. Didn't know the islands had a police force.
Neither did I.
Look, it's Terrence, the baker. He never left.
Okay, he died in 1904. So yeah, they're definitely right about that one grave being very late, because when did he pass? Like 1944. All the other ones in here are like very, very, very early.
Who's it from?
Pixie.
The little girl?
I guess she grew up.
Duh. Dearly beloved friends, forever I will remember my mother as a young woman standing on the edge of the cliffs, her steely gaze set on the sea, watching for my father's return. With great heartache, she had to give up waiting, but she never lost her love for our islands. My family is tied to this place for eternity. You may remember my mother, Nora, as the one you could always count on to care for your children, to wipe a fevered brow, to read you a letter. She was as good and as kind as the day is long. I cannot express the depth of my loss. Just as my mother would never heal from the loss of my father, I too now possess a permanent hole in my heart. Dearest mother, I hope you have found the peace I know you never found in this life, and I hope you are looking down and smiling upon your beloved islands. I will love you always, your dearest daughter, Pixie. So that means technically Pixie is a crown, because Pixie is the daughter of Nora Crown, which is obviously the daughter of Cordelia Crown, or Cordelia and Peter Crown, who is like the high, like the people that almost like, maybe not own the islands, but they're like the highest of the islands, whatever. You know? That's kind of big. So now we know that the lady that was with her is Nora.
Father Thomas.
That's the priest that taught me to read.
February 16th of 1873. How old is Josh? I have been on the roads nearly all my life, and never have I seen the pews so empty. Alas, the grain prices have driven so many families from the islands. A few hardy souls remain, and I will continue to offer them respite from their struggles every Sunday. The church and I will continue to be a sanctuary for whomever is left. Father Thomas. Now, oh, it's this. That's open. I was like, I thought that the thing was from the other side. I guess I gotta go back. I just knew it was something else that was glowing.
Cordelia Crown.
Died in 1833.
We already knew that.
Man, she was only 51. Gone but not forgotten. 'Tis hard to break the tender cord when love has bound the heart. 'Tis hard, so hard, to speak the words we must forever part. Dearest loved one, we must lay thee in the peaceful grave's embrace, but thy memory will be cherished till we see thy heavenly face. So this was maybe during like around Cordelia's like funeral the last time that it was used, maybe? Like it couldn't have been, because it was other times since then.
Cordelia Crown. Oh,
What? What does it say? Did she come to the priest?
shh. Trying to read, Josh.
September 10th of 1830. To my utter disbelief, Mrs. Cordelia Crown came to see me in the dead of night. I was awoken to a loud pounding on my door. There stood Mrs. Crown in quite a state. She demanded I listen to her confession and would hear nothing of my protestations about the lateness of the hour. The confession I was privy to was nothing short of remarkable. She could no longer carry the burden of the terrible secret, she said, but no gentle lady, as is Mrs. Crown, could ever have been responsible for any wrongdoing, much less the travesties of which she spoke. Alas, I fear she has succumbed to the fevers. I sincerely hope her deliriousness will disappear come morning. What was she a part of?
I'm such a silly goose sometimes. Thought the evil spirit wouldn't follow me into a church. Shut up! Maybe I've seen too many movies. God, if you're listening, this spirit is evil. Hear me? Evil. Yes, I'm talking about you. I hear him all the time. Sometimes I wish I had gone back with the others. At least I could have talked to a psychiatrist or something. Now it's just me and him. Stop! These people you talk about, they've been dead for so long. Why does it matter? I don't understand any of it. I don't care about Cordelia Crown or why she thought she needed to confess. I want a bit of peace in my head. Yes, you gave me Seabrook, but you want me to stay on that beach forever. But why? Yes, I'm listening. Father Thomas, yes. He's the one that taught you to read, I remember. So he was here when it all happened.
Was she talking to you?
Not as far as I know.
Father Thomas.
You think he knew me?
Maybe he taught you how to read.
He's definitely taken over people's minds before, I could tell. I feel like he must be like a restless spirit, Josh, the one that's in our head. Josh must be like a restless spirit who maybe doesn't fully remember how he died, and because of that he's like maybe like trapped on the island. This is my own theory, so like I don't know what happens. Like maybe he's trapped on the island and he's like almost like forced to like accidentally latch on to whoever might happen to be alive that could maybe help him figure it out. Because so far it seems like maybe the reason why, and this is why I was confused before, was because at one point he was like, oh wow, this person, this voice jogged some of my memory. Like I feel like I knew them, and we were like, oh well then maybe you were alive back then. But no, maybe the reason why instead that voice jogged his memory is because he was probably already dead when he met this lady, and he was inside of her head and he was talking to her, just like how he is now talking to Riley. And for context, the lady from the cassette tapes is someone who did not get on the last ship of evacuation in like 1980. So it's like a more recent woman, which is why she sounds the way that she does and why she has cassettes. She didn't get on the last ferry to evacuate the Rogue Island, so she stayed there, and that is probably why she got Josh in her head, because he is maybe like a lost spirit, and that's why he knows all these old people, because he keeps talking about Cordelia. He just finished telling us that Father Thomas taught him how to read. And she said, yes, I know, Father Thomas taught you how to read. So Josh is definitely inside of her head. He doesn't know He probably doesn't remember. I don't think he remembers everything from his past, but he's definitely latched onto other people so far. I have a feeling like Josh was definitely from like the 1800s. Definitely 1800, like early 1800s, maybe even very, very late 1700s possibly. Because if Cordelia died in like 1833, and she was only 50, he could have also been from like the early 1800s, maybe even the early 1700s or something, you know? Because he talks about the crown so much. Also, I end up pausing to say this stuff because they talk so often, I don't want to accidentally like start talking and they start talking, so that's why I do that.
This is about Beatrice, from the school, a cornerstone of this community.
Sunday, August 30th of 1846. Mass preparation. In Mass, I must remember to announce the church picnic next week. And most importantly, I must especially remember to announce the opening of the Cordelia Crown Elementary School. I will talk to the organist about arranging for the children to sing a song in Miss Beatrice Parker's honor. Miss Parker has been of such service to our community. To think without Miss Beatrice Parker, so many of our children would be unable to read and write. Now we have our own school, and she can teach them all. Such a blessing. Alright, I think we got everything from in here. Let's look at our journal for a little bit. Also make sure nothing else is there. A remarkable lady, adored by many. She had purpose. I wish I'd known her. Yeah, it's official. I'm losing it. When you start writing crap like that, you need a break, Riley. So many dead. I really do not like graveyards. I know of holes in your heart when I lost my mom. I didn't know how I'd carry on. I miss you every day, Mom. Take me home. What act is so horrible you feel you need to go confess in the middle of the night? That's what I want to know. Is what happened. Like, what could have possibly caused that confession? Remember me? Know I will love you forevermore. Oh, are they gonna draw all of them? That is also very useful in case I need to look back. Oh, are we missing a couple of the graveyards? Let me go look around then. Because why are some of them blank? That can only mean that I am missing a couple. You know? And I can't click Father Thomas's, right? Right? Okay, I guess not. Okay. Then who am I missing? Because I'm obviously missing somebody. Oh, Beatrice. Oh,
shit.
These two.
It's Beatrice Parker from the school. That's so sad.
I mean, she had to pass away at some point, though. These people are quite old. Benjamin Parker. 1886. Alright. Probably missing one more, I feel like. Let's see. We got him. Okay, that's the big one. I think we should be good then. This looks like it fills the page. So I'm gonna assume we got them all. With my
I'm
assumption.
glad we're out of there.
You don't like churches?
I don't like graveyards especially. I keep thinking about what Pixie wrote. Such sorrow. That irreparable loss. Have you ever felt it?
Not in my personal experience. Unless I've forgotten.
I think
Nora
you have.
felt it too. She never got over losing that guy. Tears up my heart. Why is it we can't get away from that pain? Nora. She's Pixie's mum.
Are you frowning?
No, I'm not frowning.
I can't tell if you're annoyed. I can't see your face.
I'm not annoyed. It's my head. You're talking at full volume here, and I can't turn you off. And don't say you're sorry.
Oh.
Dear Diary, today I paid another visit to Scruff's place. Pinewater Bay. I love that word. I wasn't talking to you. To my tape recorder. It's like a journal, I've told you. Can you just be quiet for 2 seconds? So, as I was saying, Scruff. He abandoned his family. Who does that? He did too. And you let him. I read his letters. I don't care what you said. I understand about the sorrows of war. Dad was never the same after the Rim War. But he came back for me. Those girls did not have to grow up without a father. He did have a choice. You always have a choice. And so did you. You should have let him go. No, bollocks. You do know how. You could have let both of us go if you tried. Oh, piss off, Josh. I don't want to talk to you anymore.
Yup, it's him.
She
I knew
said,
it.
Josh, she called you by your name.
Margot,
You were in her head?
I don't understand.
Yeah, he was in his head. You just don't remember. You were bothering her just like you bother me. Can I go into this water? I hope I can. It would be nice if I could, but I don't think I probably can. Oh, I can! Yay!
Soldiers. Maybe the skipper was one of them.
I don't know. Not many islanders went to the First War.
Maybe he wasn't from the islands.
1913. Harry Doyle in Langdon.
He was a soldier.
Lewis Doyle.
Naval Forces Certificate of Identification, Port of Bethan. The bearer, Lewis Doyle, whose home address is that. Born in 1893. Okay. Cool. Oh, it's got a bunch of names. We've got all of these names on here. Dennis Shirley, Herbert Wilson, Robert Brown, Gary something, Donald Boyle. Huh.
I remember that one lad. This picture's from the Second War.
So this Lewis Doyle was involved in both wars.
Ewan Samuel Foster, June of 1941. He could not have made this journey without you. Love, Carrie. Ewan Lee Paxton, June 1940. I know you brought him much comfort before his service, love. Love, Carrie. Okay, cool.
Whoever owned that boat had military history, that's for sure.
I wonder, though. did he go to war?
People generally didn't have a choice. They were drafted. And sometimes fighting a war seemed a better prospect than starving to death.
It's awful. Did you see those names on the wall?
Yeah, I think they were soldiers. I used to know it, Joseph. I'm sure of that.
Did he go to war?
I think so. Maybe even on that boat.
Maybe the skipper took them.
Scruff! That's right! That's what we called him!
You know this man.
Perfectly. I even remember his face, his voice, his humming, his tobacco.
Why didn't you tell me before?
I only just remembered.
What was he like?
Warm, helpful, caring, always talking.
I'm starting to think that maybe Scruff or whatever his name is, maybe that is like Margot, or the one who does this cassette tape. Maybe that's like her dad or something, because remember she said something about how like Josh won't leave her and I think her father alone. So maybe Josh remembers him because maybe he was in his head too. You know? Like maybe Josh wasn't actually alive during these times. Maybe he was also still dead. Because he remembered Margot as if he had like just... He was like, oh, she rings a bell or something. And it ended up being where he was inside of her head the whole time. Maybe it's the same way with the guy Scruff.
Josh, it's happening again.
You never send them.
They're meant to live here with me, not go out into the world.
Letters are meant to be read.
Maybe, my boy. And then again, maybe letters are just meant to be written. Huh?
I don't understand.
My gals, they're happier without me. No. They have lives, loves. I'm a sad old man who's seen more death than I care to share. And these hands, I killed with them. Can't wash that war away, no matter how many years at sea.
But those hands, they've also healed.
Healing doesn't make up for the taking of a life. There's no return from that.
Why write it all then?
I love my daughters. Think about them all the time. And I suppose I want to remind them and myself of all the good parts. There's no sense to it. But it works for me. They have a new family now, and I have you, no? Lord knows you need someone to take care of you. Let's go find a spot for this one, my boy.
What about 3 sisters?
3 sisters. Yes, that works beautifully.
Scruff. That was Scruff. Exactly like I remember him.
I didn't see you. You weren't there.
I was
weren't.
already dead.
You were in his head too.
Told you. Also, side note, I think Scruff is also the guy who, the last time we were playing, and technically I think was it in the very beginning when we started? There was, these, like, letters or, like, notes that we were finding that were being, like, said in this older voice, and I think that's Scruff, because he kept, like, we kept finding letters that were kind of, like, written, I think, to his children, as if he couldn't see them, and I was also confused about that, because I was like, well, why are you writing these letters as, like, and leaving them on this island if they're not here? But they probably were, and he was leaving these notes in hope that they would find them. What it seems like.
26th of September 1939.
Yeah.
My sweets. As you've probably heard, war has struck again. We humans never seem to learn from our mistakes. During the First War, I was a medic, and my mission was to save the boys. But there were so many I couldn't help. Sometimes I had to make a choice over who should live and who should die. I essentially killed one to save another. The smell of death, the bodies, the blood, the screams of agony. They never let you go. I wish I could imprint all that upon these young boys who are enlisting. Their lives are never going to be the same. I cannot make them see. Instead, they're filled with excitement for the adventures they believe are ahead. I know no way to help, so I take them. My boat and I deliver them to the front line. My friend Carrie told me the myth of Carol, the ferryman to the river Styx. I feel like I too am delivering these boys to the underworld. All I can offer is a safe passage, but I cannot save them. In these dark days, I don't know if I can save Josh either. My head is a swirl, and I'm no closer to having an answer. That boy is my heart, and I have to help him. I'm so sorry to have written such a grim letter. I only make it through these times knowing you are in the world, your loving father.
Ready or not, he could have ended this.
He didn't have a choice.
No, he didn't. He should have faced his kids, shared his sorrow.
You should have. I also, though, am wondering what happened to Josh. Or was he, in a way, in a sense, doing like what we are doing, I guess, with trying to understand what happened, but maybe Josh was the first person that latched on to him. So maybe he was trying to help Josh and he never was able to, and that's why Josh ended up latching on to his daughter, maybe?
Murder? Here on the islands?
Oh my god. Josh, look! That's your name.
Oh, you got murdered? The Rogues Gazette. Monday, September 13th of 1819. The Black Bell murder. Tragedy struck at the Black Bell Tavern late Tuesday night when George Smith was brutally stabbed by an unknown assailant. George, aged 32, was rumored to be involved in smuggling activities, and the Black Bell has often been thought to be the smuggling hub. Witnesses deny such claims. George was just drinking too much and yelling at someone, and then there was a knife, said Josh. Upon questioning, he added, I could not see with whom George was fighting. The bell is not very well lit. Callum, who had also been at the scene, added, the Black Bell may attract some unsavory folk, but most of us are upstanding members of our community. I'm sure this will not happen again, and I hope they find who did this soon. This proclamation was met by agreement from all Black Bell patrons, who then raised a glass to George. Constable Sprouse says he has no current leads, and the investigation will continue.
These are beautiful pictures, but why did he put them up here?
Maybe they
He
look
must have
nice.
found something there.
Okay, so we gotta look for a tree.
Do you know who this is?
Archibald O'Sullivan. We called him Archie. A gardener. At the lodge, I think.
Why did he think that place was so important? What happened there?
Stillwater Cove, I think is what it says. Yeah, Stillwater Cove.
A receipt for bottles.
That name Compton. We've seen it before.
In the graveyard.
Callum Compton.
He was in the newspaper clipping too. Mr. Compton acknowledges the receipt of 12 bottles from Mr. Barlow on the 22nd of August, 1819. Whereupon the sale of said bottles, Mr. Compton will present Mr. Barlow with 10% of sale amount. That's also the same year as the murder, like the stabbing.
Do you see that date?
June 18th?
I'm sure I've seen it before.
Mr. Callum Compton, 35, dies. Big Rogue Island, June 18th. Residents of Rogue Island mourn the passing of Mr. Callum Compton, who died today due to the lodge fire. Mr. Callum Compton was born on Big Rogue Island and has remained here all his life. Mr. Compton is survived by his niece, Pixie. A memorial service will be held at the church on Sunday, the 23rd of June. Okay, so Mr. Compton is Pixie's uncle.
That's not Scruff's handwriting.
Where'd you get these notes? Is this about you?
12th of January, 1821. It appears I was right, and he has been smuggling contraband into the islands. What's more, it seems he has been doing this in the service of the crowns. Most islanders seem to know this for a fact, and yet do not seem to mind in the least. Even Constable Wilford turns a blind eye. In fact, I have been told I had better quit my inquiries if I want to keep my job as special constable, which puts me in an impossible situation. Alright, that's everything there. He's gonna see his girls.
So much.
Then why didn't he go home?
Probably a reason. At least I'd hope so.
Kerry was feeding him.
Let's say they fed each other. He'd go fishing or hunting boar.
Missed it.
I know this picture. It was at that first cabin we
Sure
found.
was.
Carrie's, yes. That's her.
And that's Scruff.
Thick as thieves, those two.
Okay. So now we can put them together. That makes sense. It is these moments of joy that make life extraordinary. Love, Carrie. That makes sense. So Carrie left the mainland and left the woman who's been leaving those cassette tapes on the islands and wanted her to evacuate, I believe.
No label, no nothing. Was he making his own liquor?
No, they look older. At least 19th century?
I really don't get why he buried his letters in these. His daughters probably thought he was dead.
And he liked it better like that.
He never finished this one. Must have died suddenly.
From a broken heart. Literally. His heart failed. Still, he refused to leave me.
I'm sorry.
May 22nd of 1944. My dearest Alice, Emily, and Jane. I saw a young porpoise today. He leaped, I don't know what that is by the way. He leaped through the waves with such joy, such freedom, and I thought of you, my daughters, and I remembered the days before I left. I remembered the joy of your tiny fingers wrapped around my own. I remembered your wild curls flying as I chased you. I remembered your squeals of laughter, such laughter. Of course, you are now grown women. Maybe you even have children of your own. But for me, you remain those small girls with that same wild spirit, like that young porpoise dancing in the water. I saw the porpoise when I was out on the boat with my friend Josh. I've spoken of him in my other letters. We were sailing to the isle known as the Dark Road. It is a beautiful and rugged place. I wish you could see it. Josh tells me it was a deadly place back in his days, yet they couldn't keep him away. Oh, thank you for the hydrate and the stretch. I'm actually probably going to take, when we are done inside of this house, I'm going to probably take a quick little 5-minute break to use the bathroom and step away for a moment, and then we'll come back. Especially since this is such a, focused, intense, reading intense stream. Alright. So yeah, I actually think I will do my pause here. It's only gonna be like a quick little 5-minute break. But I will be back because I'm pretty sure once I leave, they're gonna start talking again. So I'm gonna do a quick little break. I'll put some music on for you guys so that it's not just like dead quiet in here. You know? And then I will be back. So let's set that up real quick. Here we go. Alright, you guys, I'll be back in 5 minutes. I'll even do the little command so you guys can see. So be right back. Okie dokie. Hello. I'm happy that you guys like the the music whenever I put it on. I technically do have like the that like song command, but I don't know if it always works properly anymore because I haven't used it in so long. But also, hello T, welcome in. I hope you're doing well. Give you a shout out. Yeah, we're having a very cozy day. I don't know if you've already been here, but just in case you haven't, we're having a very chill, cozy day with a more narrative like game. It's kind of like a walking sim type thing where we get to hear lots of dialogue as we walk down the path while also grabbing different letters and reading and whatnot. So yeah. I was in here lurking and heard that and was like, hold on. I feel you. It's all chill hop, honestly. I used to have like a little playlist of chill hop stuff, but then for some reason my Spotify started acting up on streams and I just was like, you know what, forget this. And I started instead putting on the chill hop mixes because I am part of the little creator program still, so I didn't want to like not use chill hop for my music, but now I just use them from their YouTube channel instead. But I usually always like the music in chill hops playlists most of the time. It ends up working out. But also I hope you're doing good. You could still feel free to continue lurking. I know you're a professional lurker like I am. Because I am 100% a professional lurker, so I get it. So if you do want to go back into the shadows, I get it. If you want to stay out, feel free. But we're gonna get back in here. I'm pretty sure they're gonna start talking once I come back. Once I walk out of this door, they're gonna start talking. So you're gonna see what happens. Come on. Okay, there we go. Alright. Yeah, and now we can actually
Everything in there.
go
It's
there.
as if he was conducting his own investigation.
You mean I've been through this before?
I think Scruff was looking for you in the history of these islands, yeah.
Why am I still here then?
Maybe he died before he could finish it?
Yep. Smuggling. We'll talk about this.
What do you know about the smuggling?
You think I was involved?
I don't know what to think right now. Don't get me wrong, I like you, but you might have been a crook. Scruff put up those notes about the smuggling for a reason. It must be relevant to what happened to you.
He was wrong about one thing, though. They weren't smuggling things onto the islands. They were getting goods out of here.
See, exactly. See, you know
See?
things.
You know things about this smuggling. So, Scruff lived here mid-20th century. And he investigated your death.
My death?
Yes.
I don't like it when you say it out loud like that.
But you're dead. We have to think about what that means.
It means that not everything I remember happened when I was alive.
Yes.
And that there may have been others that you could talk with.
We should find them.
Yeah, you are very much dead, sir. Like, very much dead. And you have been dead for a long time. He probably got caught up in illegal activities and was one of the smuggler people. Or possibly could have been one of the constables, maybe. Maybe he was a constable assistant, I don't know. And he got caught up trying to get the smuggler. Because that could also be how he knows so much if he was, like, like an officer, in a way. Nice, you're on Elden. Cool, cool. How's that going, by the way, for you?
Josh? I have a little confession to make. I'm actually glad I met you.
I'm not.
Oh, all right. I think you just made me blush.
You can't blush if you're dead. There we go.
Whose journal is this?
Nora.
Nora's.
That's Pixie's mother.
Sure
Yeah,
is.
the woman from the picnic.
And from the eulogy in the priest's notebook. Remember?
There we go. I always have to wait until they talk so I can read. June 25th of 1833. This was the same year, I think, that Cordelia died. How does one begin? We buried Mother and Callum today. Yep, okay. We buried Mother and Callum today. A heavy day with more loss than one can hold. And yet the sun continues to shine. Despite being the month of June, I thought the Coleridge's words, "Come, come thou bleak December wind, and blow the dry leaves from the tree." That refrain repeated itself in the rhythm of my beating heart, as we lay Cordelia crowned to rest. She and I had our differences and our woes, but her love and devotion to Pixie were not to be denied. I held the girl close as she wept. So much loss in one so small, but we survived. It is all we know how to do. Of course, the question of why Callum and my mother were together at the lodge remains. What business did they share? One may never know the truth, but certainly one can ruminate. Mysteries keep the dead from being dead. They remain alive as we desperately try to know their secrets. But I hear Pixie, and I must go confront my sweet girl, Nora. In loving remembrance of Cordelia Crown. So was Callum and Cordelia having an affair? Is that what it was? That's what it seems like. Because we also know that Peter, which I think was her husband, came to the islands, and then everybody was basically like, boo, tomato, 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 and he went back to the mainlands. And then the women of the Crowns, aka Cordelia and Nora, came, and everybody loved them. And I don't know if Peter actually stayed. Like, I don't know if Peter came back. Which meant that his wife was kind of just here. Doing whatever. Taking care of business and whatnot. So, you know. The Rogues Gazette. Oh wait, when did we get that? Okay. The Tragic Lodge Fire. 2 dead. Let's do it the easy way. Oh, there was a fire in the lodge. Tragic Lodge Fire. 2 dead. Tuesday's quiet summer night was interrupted by a tragic fire at the lodge. The bells rang as the large manor went up in flames. The Rogue Islands lost 2 of its beloved citizens, Mrs. Cordelia Crown and Mr. Callum Compton. Constable Sprouse says foul play may be at work, but further investigation is necessary. Mrs. Cordelia Crown and Mr. Callum Compton appeared to have been together in the upper drawing room when the fire erupted. Constable Sprouse refused to say if Mr. Callum Compton's long-suspected dealing with the smugglers gang was related to this investigation. Firefighters battled the flames until the wee hours of the morning. The majestic lodge will no longer brighten our shores, as its upper floors were heavily damaged, and Mrs. Cordelia Crown, a true benefactress for the Rogue Islands, will be greatly missed by all its citizens. A memorial service of Mrs. Cordelia Crown will be held this morning, Sunday, the 23rd of June. Oh, or maybe she was part of, like, the smuggling deals. Was she, like, allowing it to happen? Is that, like, why she had such a need to confess her sins, like, 3 years prior in the dead of night to the priest? Because that definitely sounds like something that would make you have to confess.
Is that hair?
Yes. To remember the deceased.
Nana? Oh, that must have been, Cordelia. But it must have been owned by Pixie. And I have to look at the journal in a minute because I haven't looked in a little bit.
She was married.
Always. My love.
That sounds nice. I'd like that. Always.
Is this Nora's house or?
Coleridge. His words get me every time.
I wandered lonely as a cloud.
That floats on high o'er vales and hills. That's Wordsworth.
I like him better.
A nice book. I'm gonna butcher this, so I'm not gonna read it. I can see that old English, and I can tell I'm not going to do very well with it. But let's catch up, shall we? Because there's quite a bit of things we have not looked at in here. Like, this is how much we have not read. And I want to go in order. Okay. So we can see Scruff over here putting everything in his boat after I guess he sailed it back to the land? I always picture him as an old man, yet here he is as a young soldier. They look so different. Both can't be true. Or maybe they can. I'll be old someday, hopefully. Did Scruff love Carrie? A soldier in the First War. That's a long time ago. Who is Barlow? Why did Scruff keep this receipt? Did Josh know him? Josh equal Barlow? Josh Barlow? And I think I might have missed something up there. The top part of that page looks a little bare. And off they were, to their deaths. How could he do it? Or was he the only one capable of getting them there safely? Oh, and that must have been maybe Carrie coming by the house to feed him. A lot of trouble went down at the Black Bell. Callum, who is he? What was he doing at the Bell? Why was Josh there? Was he involved in the murder? Scruff's girls and Archie. Scruff was conducting his own investigation, and he had someone else's notes. Where did he get them? That fire at the lodge, I don't think that was an accident. Yeah, that definitely was not an accident. That was on purpose. You always have a choice. He chose not to go back to his daughters. He chose Josh instead. Callum and Cordelia. What was up with those two? The possibilities drive me mad, or the lack thereof. Find out about their deaths. Always. It seems kind of a long time. Will someone ever love me for always? I can't imagine. Alright, so now we're up to date with the journal. I have to remember to check it because sometimes that lets me know if I'm missing stuff.
I remember Nora on that beach with her daughter Pixie.
It was their home.
What are you thinking?
It's so weird that you're in my head, but you can't know what I'm thinking.
You should be glad. So, what's on your mind?
Nora, she was married. Yet she's always alone. There's no trace of her husband.
We already knew that, didn't we? She said as much in the picnic.
Right, but that's not the point. Who is that man?
We must have come across his name somewhere.
Someone from the islands?
Not necessarily. There weren't many, but some came from the mainland. Why is there no trace of him at Nora's?
I'd ban him from my life if he'd left me.
No need to be mad at me. I'm not going anywhere.
See?
That's what they all say. Hang
See?
on.
He is a ghost in your head, girl.
Pixie.
Relax.
She's Nora's daughter.
We know that.
Cordelia Crown is Nora's mother.
So Pixie,
She's the granddaughter of Cordelia Crown.
the girl's a crown.
Yeah. Okay, can I read the rock now, please? Thank you. I just wanted to be able to read the rock. Because I can't read the stuff while they're talking, so I always have to wait. Let's just look at it real quick. Did we miss something? I feel like we missed something. There's a whole blank page in there. What else did I not get? Take another peek. And if I don't find it, then I don't find it, but I can try, you know. Uh-oh, I can hear my cat meowing. And think she's ready to come upstairs and be a menace. Think that's what's about to happen. Alright, and I don't see anything else, so we're gonna go. Hello, baby cakes. Hello. Hi. You wanna come up? Come on. Come on. You wanna come up to me? So that you don't, you know, do something else that you shouldn't do? Don't think about it. Don't think about it. I think she's chosen violence tonight, though. I think she's gonna try and get onto my PC. Come on! Yeah, come on, come on. You wanna come up? You don't wanna come up? You should come up. She's waiting so she could get on my PC. I can feel it. Alright. I guess we shall continue up. You just gonna keep staring at me? Come on. What's up, huh? You wanna come up? What's going on? Huh? You alright? You okay? You have something on your face. Can I get it off? Got like lint by your eyeball. My cat's literally just staring at me. Oh yay, I get to climb. Traversal. Come on. What's up? Why are you looking at me like that now? Come on. Also, my stuff is like caught up in each other. Fix this so that if I have to jump up, I will be okay. Knowing my luck, that's what will happen. What's up, huh? You okay? You gonna chill? I'm not gonna play with the laser with you right now, okay?
I love you, Tig. You know that. You and me, we're both fighters. So you're gonna have to be strong without me. You're gonna have to keep watch. Make sure no one enters this beach without me knowing about it, okay? Might be Daddy.
No.
And I might not be here. And I can't miss him. I can't not talk to him, or he might leave again. But if I tell him I love him, if I tell him I'm sorry, then he'll stay. I know he will. Okay, Tig, I'll be back before nightfall, so you're not alone. I know you're scared of the dark.
I think it's, y'all saw how, like, I think it was Dora who was, like, standing there looking from behind the tree. I don't know if y'all can see her, but hello. Oh, I just realized something that I forgot to do. It was up for the entirety of the stream and I forgot to take off my death counter. That's not this type of game. I'm sure somebody probably looked at my screen like, why is there a death counter for this? I thought it was a cozy game. Why are there deaths? That was my fault. Hello, baby cakes. You wanna get on my lap so that you are not in the way? Wanna come over here? Come on. I love when you stretch and you put your claws into my thigh. Thank you. Hello, girly. Yes, I'm. She's. I don't know if you guys. I don't think you guys can see, but she is literally rubbing all against my controller right now. It's like it's an extension of my hand, so she is rubbing against it because she wants to be petted. Yes, I love you too. Yes, you are very, very cute sometimes. It's, yeah, okay. Thank you. Thank you for the love. Thank you so very much. I appreciate it. Would you like to lay down so I can keep playing? Hmm? Would you like to do that for me? That would be very helpful if you do that. Welcome to the life of having a cat, you guys. You thought it was where you could do whatever you wanted and they leave you alone? No. That's not the life in which I live. That's that she wants to be with me at all moments of the day. I go on my PC so I can do work, and she comes up every 5 minutes to meow in my face and yell at me because how dare I be doing stuff that does not require her attention? How can I do anything that does not require her input? I must be petting her at all times of day. Right? Right? You really should let me get this crust that's around your eye. Or this lint or something that got on your eye. Let me get it, please. Pretending to rub her face instead. Did I get it? Did I get it? Like just haphazardly. Yeah, I got it. I like pet her face by her eye to get the little piece of crust that got over there. Hello Rev, welcome in. We're in an unplanned little break because my cat decided she wanted attention. So I must get her comfortable on my lap before I can press play, so that I can continue to play my game above her head. So, but how are you doing, Rev? How have you been? I hope you've been good. Hope your weekend went well. Please the cat overlords, for it is the only way to get food. Pretty much. Yes. Okay, I'm sorry. I stopped petting your head. All's fine. Work tired you out. That's fair. That is very fair. I definitely feel that. Oh yeah, that feels nice, right? That feels really nice. I love when I find like a spot that she likes to be pet in. Cause the way she just calms down when I find that random spot. Oh yeah, that felt nice, right? Oh yeah, now will I be able to play because I pet your face really, really good? Come on, every time I get ready to use my controller, then she looks back up like, what are you doing? Who said that you could play a game now? I said that it's me time. It is me time and only me time. Right? Me and only me. It's my water. Am I allowed to drink? Hmm?
Oh, I love this. I wish I had a necklace like that.
Maybe someday. When you're all grown up.
She's staring at me like, what am I doing?
Oh, this is interesting.
She really did picture herself as a true detective.
She wanted to find her dad. The 14th of September, 1831. So this is 2 years before Cordelia dies tragically in a fire. Or we should say 2 years before her grandmother tragically dies in a fire. Went to Little Rogue again today. How I love walking. I don't know why my voice just went out. How I love walking along the shore. I found 3 perfect shells, but this time I was there on business. Interview with Mr. Cogswell. I wanted to talk to Mr. Cogswell alone, so he came to meet me at Little Rogue, near Land's End where no one could see us. He promises not to tell Mother I came unsupervised. Notes taken during my conversation. According to Mr. Cogswell, my father loved the islands and my mother, but I am unsure if he is saying this just to make me feel better. He says he does not know why my father left, but he hints that maybe my father was involved in something he shouldn't have been. He refused to say more. I will need to investigate further. Maybe a trip to Dark Rogue? There are stories of old pirates and smuggler gangs. He also says my uncle knew my father far better than anyone. I don't understand why Uncle Callum won't talk about my father then. Is he sad? Or does he know more than he likes to say? Tomorrow I am off to Dark Rogue. I don't care what Uncle Callum says. If the Dark Rogue is no place for a lady, he should not have given me the pixie dust. I am a detective, and there has to be a clue there, so I must go. I only need to be sure nobody sees me set sail, or they'll tell Mom or Nana. Okay, so I forgot that Callum is Uncle Callum. So if that's the case, either he is what Nora's like brother maybe, or he's like a friend of the family, which means he's close. And Callum is also the person who died in the fire with Cordelia, who is Pixie's grandmother. And supposedly Callum is the one that's been doing all of the shady smuggling stuff, I think. I think it's George Callum. I think that's what his name was. So I wonder, one thing that I'm actually starting to think of is like, what if Josh is Pixie's dad? You know, like, maybe that's the reason why, like, Nora, we're not finding anything about Nora's husband, why we aren't really finding out anything about Pixie's dad, and why Josh might be so interested in knowing the crowns and understanding the crowns and understanding Pixie, because maybe he can't remember, but maybe he is Pixie's dad and he was married to Nora and he left. And maybe when he... Excuse you? Excuse you. Is there a reason you were trying to grab my phone? You can't use it. You don't have thumbs. There is nothing on my phone besides your hair that you just put on it. Please leave my phone alone. There's nothing to play with. On my desk. You can leave it. But yeah, I'm starting to think that maybe Josh is Nora's husband. And that could also be why he is related to the smuggling, because he is in a way, part of the Crown family. And maybe he had to help with, like, everything. I don't know. But that's what I'm taking so far from all this. That's how I'm reading into it at the moment.
Is this a backpack?
Shoulder bag, used specifically when hiking.
Looks like she did a lot of that. I used to draw maps like these, of imaginary worlds with fairies and mermaids.
Why did you stop?
I had to grow up.
You have Nana on the island on the right. You have the Black Bell Tavern in the island on the left. And then you have the horses and the sheep, like the farmland, I guess, on the regular one. But it also seems like these are the 3 islands. I think these are the rogue islands. It seems like. 'Cause there was 3. There was 3 islands for the rogue. There was the little one, the big one, and I think the dark one. But I don't remember which one was the farm one and all that stuff. But those definitely have to be the various islands.
What was she looking for? Josh, it's Tig.
She loved that stuffed animal so much.
I had a soft dog like that. I would hug it every night, needing its little head on my chest to fall asleep. I still have it on my boat.
I was like, am I stuck?
Why did she keep these here? Why not back at the house?
My bet is she didn't want Nora to know.
Oh, that she used them so much. I love you, Tig. Nothing will bring her down. I need a pair of these. I always feel like there's something I need to say. Something far in the distance, just out of reach. What was that girl looking for? My heart aches whenever I think of those worn boots. Such freedom, to go where you want, to decide for yourself. I can hear the rushing of my blood just thinking about it. She seemed determined, ready to go down the rabbit hole. Ow! Bye! Oh, you're not actually leaving? You're still in menace mode. Okay, I gotta keep an eye on you still. Such bravery. I understand the beckoning of the marshes and the beaches. But what was she hoping to find? Surely not her father. Such foolishness. I wonder, have these islands changed much since she drew this map? She didn't map out the Dark Road. Walk me to the sea. I want more. The tingle of the ridges pressing in my fingertips takes me back to another time. Back to her. Mom? Oh, cute. I'm missing stuff lately. I don't know what it is I keep missing.
She reminds me of you.
She's nothing like me.
Oh, there's something here.
July 1941. My sweet Elfins. Today I found a letter from a young girl called Pixie, whose father left the islands many years ago. She's filled with longing and searches for him continuously. How her story broke my heart. Have I caused you, my daughters, such immense sorrow? Am I the cause for tears? I too sailed away and left you behind. Know that leaving you was the hardest thing I've ever done. Know that my love for you is the one thing that keeps me strong. There's nothing I can say to make it right. I just hope you forgive me. And in truth, I hope you've forgotten me, so that I do not bring you such sorrow. Your loving father.
I don't believe this guy.
He's a man with regrets.
Unable to fix his mistakes. You like him?
I get him.
Because you also left. You are Pixie's dad. I'm convinced. Until they prove to me otherwise, I am convinced that he is Pixie's dad. Oh, so very convinced. Alright. Am I disappointed that I feel like I'm missing things lately? Yes, but am I gonna dwell on it? No, we're gonna keep going.
I just don't understand why she kept looking for her dad.
Because she believed in him. Isn't there anything you ever believed in? With your whole heart?
I believed in Santa Claus, and he never came after my mom died. Oh my god, it's her!
Are you Nora?
Why are
Or
you
Cordelia?
here?
Well, hello to you too.
I saw you leaping about on the beach. Why?
A storm dragged me here. I didn't choose this.
You could have left by now. You don't carry any sleeping bags or bedrolls. You're not prepared for this. What are you plotting?
I see. You expect answers. Let me ask you a question instead. Who are you?
Why, Beatrice Parker.
From the school?
Head mistress.
Look, I don't know the right or wrong of this, but I need to figure out how I can help this ghost that's stuck here. And maybe, just maybe, you can help me. Or a ghost yourself, also stuck.
I don't see a ghost.
He's not here.
Are you denying the words you just said?
He's in my head.
So you're imagining him.
Okay, stop. Can you help me help him? I think I need to find Nora Crown.
She's dead, honey.
I know that. It's about the Crown family. I want to know about them.
But if it's their home you're looking for, you should try the lodge. On Little Rogue.
Thank you.
One word of advice. Don't trust that ghost of yours. I used to know everybody here. And I've never heard of him. Goodbye.
It was the she's dead, honey. That part was funny. Because, I mean, she did not lie about that. She did not lie. But yeah, but so we know that there was a Josh on the island at some point while Callum and them were alive. But all we know is that they might have been a bystander. Oh look, we're back at like the beginning area. This is where we started. If you look you squint in the distance, you can actually see our boat. can see where our boat was.
Well, at least this time she said goodbye.
She's not making much sense, is she?
Yeah, like, why shouldn't I trust you?
Why would
Didn't
you
even
trust
tell her
him?
your name. She can't know you.
She must really not like me.
Why is that? Did you do something to her?
You don't believe her, right?
Why wouldn't I?
You know me.
Do I really?
I don't believe this.
I only know what you tell me. There's hardly anything about you on this island. Let's just keep going and see what's on Little Rogue. We have yet to find you.
Yeah, I don't know who Josh... Like, I feel like Josh is related somehow to the Crowns, but I don't necessarily know if I trust him. Because like they said, we haven't found much about Josh.
28th of October 1942. My dear little Elfins. Some days I wish I had died in the war. I wish I could just put the past away, but it haunts me. Carrie hates it when I talk like that. But I feel like I'm a broken record, saying and doing the same things over and over again. If only I could lift the needle and play a different tune. I'd love to dance to the song where I was home with you and never set out for war to begin with. I'm tired. I want to leave here and finally come home. I keep trying to help Josh, but there are no answers. Nothing makes sense. None of it. I wish I'd never gone to the lodge. I must make this one short. I promised Carrie I would be by for dinner. I don't know why she puts up with me, but I'd be lost without her. Love you, and wish I could see your faces once again. Your father.
He'd been to the lodge.
And you want to go too?
Yes, to go see what he saw. If you stop and think for a minute, you'd see it makes sense.
I wonder if Carrie is the wife who had his kids or not, because if that's the case, it is a little odd that, like, he went to war, right, and then he came back. He lived in a different house, but he would let his wife still take care of him, but told her basically probably not to tell his daughters that he existed. And that is kind of weird.
Callum Compton.
I remember him. He was up on Scruff's investigation wall.
I have hair on me because of you. Because of you, girl. County Code, title, illegal distillation of high-proof spirits. 1817, accused Callum Compton. Witnesses, Special Constable Dylan Sprouse. Description: yesterday I apprehended Mr. Compton for illegal distillation of high-proof spirits. However, before this arrest, Mr. Compton's distilling apparatus caught fire and the small shack used for said illicit activity was burned to ashes. Penalty: Mr. Compton was tried but let off with merely a warning on the grounds that there was no liquor in evidence to support the seriousness of the charge. The 14th June 18... Wait a second, then that means... Hold on. Title, illegal poaching attempt, also Callum Compton. Witnesses, John Griffiths. Description, the accused was found guilty of illegal poaching attempts on the premises of the Griffith family. Penalty on Mrs. Griffith's request, Mr. Compton was released without charges on his promise to seize any future poaching attempts in the area. Mrs. Griffiths was willing to show mercy in honor of Mr. Compton's mother and her friend who died while out poaching for her sons. Title: Stealing of Tobacco. In 1815, Callum Compton, victim was Thomas Baker. The accused was caught red-handed trying to steal a pouch of tobacco from Mr. Baker's grocery shop. Penalty: the accused was sentenced to pay a fine of 12p to Mr. Baker. As the accused didn't have such money at his disposal, both parties agreed on a payment of 2p per month. In 1813, bar fight in Black Bell. Count Compton, the victim was Henry Clinch Jr. Witnesses: Henry Clinch Sr. and Thaddeus Cook. Description: the accused was found guilty of picking a fight with the victim over a game of dice. During the game, Mr. Compton accused Mr. Clinch Jr. of cheating. However, no evidence was found that Mr. Clinch Jr. had indulged in any cheating, as his father, Mr. Henry Clinch Sr., stood witness to the entire game. According to said father, it was Mr. Compton himself who cheated once Mr. Compton knew there was no way for him to win the game. Mr. Clinch Sr.'s testimony was backed up by Mr. Thaddeus Cook, owner of the Black Bell. Penalty: Mr. Compton was sentenced to 2 weeks of gardening in service of the Clinch family. And also, man, this man's just going at it. Also 1813. Callum Compton, victim Clifford Watson, witnesses Horatio Morris, Charles Edwards, Byron Cooper. It's closed. Description: a huge brawl erupted today at the docks after Mr. Compton was denied access to unload cargo for Mr. Watson's fishing vessel, the Nimrod. Mr. Watson claimed Mr. Compton was working in cahoots with Mr. Reginald Shaw, captain of rival fishing vessel the Flying Spur. Mr. Watson accused Mr. Compton of deliberately sabotaging and thus delaying the Nimrod's departure on multiple occasions. The reason for the sabotage, according to Mr. Watson, was so Mr. Shaw could beat Mr. Watson to the rogue's richest fishing grounds just offshore. Witnesses were especially descriptive of Mr. Compton's angry demeanor, calling him a feral savage who should be put in chains for everybody's sake. Penalty: Mr. Compton was denied access to the docks for 1 month and permanent denial of access to the Nimrod. So, one thank you for the hydrate and for the stretch. But the thing that I just thought about from the first part, which was when he was accused of illegal distillation of the high proofs, he caught, because of his apparatus, it caught fire, and the small shack used for the illicit activity was burned to ashes. So it makes me wonder if the lodge or whatever was being used for the distillation process. Because if it was being used to make the distillation of the high proof liquors and whatnot, and the apparatuses caught fire, it could make sense why both Callum and Cordelia ended up dying in a terrible, terrible fire within the lodge. You know, especially because, let's see if I can find it at least. There was, where is it? It was that receipt for bottles. Yeah, Mr. Compton acknowledges the receipt of 12 bottles from Mr. Barlow on the 22nd of August, 1819. Whereupon the said bottles, Mr. Compton will present Mr. Barlow with percent of the sale amount. Maybe Mr. Barlow was also into it, but they had, I feel like it might have been where they were like making the stuff there.
More of these bottles.
Contraband. We were all distilling it.
Liquor?
Whiskey.
Like, that had to be, they had to have been distilling it themselves, and then they caught on fire. Or whatever, there we go.
Is this Archie?
Archibald O'Sullivan, yeah. I didn't know he had a record.
He was a criminal.
I wouldn't say that.
Alright. Public intoxication at Stillwater Cove. In 1820, Archibald O'Sullivan. Witness, Constable Wolford. Description, Mrs. Bethelbert reported she witnessed Mr. O'Sullivan stumbling about Stillwater Cove in a seriously inebriated state. She reported as much to me more out of worry than anger. She insisted I mention this in my report. When I went out to search for Mr. O'Sullivan, he lay passed out in his boat. Penalty, Mr. O'Sullivan was released without charges. Alright, and then again in 1821, public intoxication in the Black Bold. Archie and the witness was Thaddeus Cook. Description, Mr. O'Sullivan was thrown out of the Black Bell today as he had become overly intoxicated and started harassing the clients. Penalty was Mr. O'Sullivan is denied access to the Black Bell indefinitely. Today, June 29th of 1826, I received the body of the deceased Mr. Archibald O'Sullivan into my presence. The deceased was 58 years of age. Cause of death was determined as death by intoxication. The deceased was found drifting near his boat in Stillwater Cove. There were no signs of struggle. Reporting Officer Special Constable Dylan Sprouse and the Supervising Officer Constable Oliver Wilford. Incident, fire on Little Rogue. On the 19th of June, 1813, a fire consumed the lodge, the Crown family's estate, located on Little Rogue. 2 persons perished on the fire, Mrs. Cordelia Crown and Mr. Colin Compton. Both bodies were found in the upper drawing room. It is unclear what business Mr. Compton had upon the premises. A search revealed no valid source of the fire, indicating the possibility of arson. Supporting this claim is the fact that the upper drawing room door was blocked from the outside. Further investigation is needed. Currently, the only suspect is Mr. Cook, as he and Mr. Compton have a long history of violent disputes. Interesting. I mean, maybe it was foul play. Maybe they weren't making whiskey, making illegal whiskey inside of there.
Josh, look. Pages have been torn out.
Scruff.
Yeah. This is where we got those notes from.
From Constable Sprouse.
18th of September, 1818, Dylan Sprouse. As Constable Wilford has shown no interest in opening an investigation into smuggling activities, I've taken it upon myself to do so. My suspicions began when I saw the same bottle types appear. These bottles are from no shop located upon the rogues. The contents of said bottles were always the same high alcohol liquor, supposedly imported legally from the mainland, but I have failed to find any proof thereof. My first intent is to find the location of import into these islands. Not many valid options exist due to the many underwater rock formations, prohibiting the approach of vessels. The docks are one possibility, though it would be too easy to spot the contraband. Another option would be the peninsula off the Dark Rogue, though the entirety of that peninsula is surrounded by razor-sharp rocks sticking out of the bay, making any approach by large vessels suicide. There is also a small passageway leading deeper into the island, but it is far too cramped to allow access to a smuggling vessel. The 29th of October, 1818. Time finally allowed me to visit the Dark Rogue. I conversed with Thaddeus Cook, owner of the Dark Rogue's only tavern, the Black Bell. Although Mr. Cook denied any involvement in any such activities, I couldn't help but notice something off in his demeanor. For a man being interrogated by the law, he struck me as overconfident, even cocky. He didn't budge. Sprouse felt he had to conduct his investigation in secret. Was there anyone powerful enough to stop him? He was the police, after all. Who am I kidding? Sprouse wasn't a necessity, someone else was. The answer was never at the bottom of a bottle, Archie. I've known people like you. Alcohol is your true demon. What was so bad, so horrible, you couldn't make it go away? Who set the lodge on fire? Callum Compton, a good heart turned cold as ice. Huh. Who did set it on fire? Who did set it on fire? That's what I am.
What happened
very
to the
curious
sea?
It's low tide, if that's what you mean.
If only that constable was still around. I could just ask him what the hell happened out here.
Another one.
Thank you. Josh, is it?
Yes, Miss Crine.
You grew up here, on the islands.
Oh, yes, Miss Crine. We've been here for generations.
That sounds
We finally
lovely.
see him.
I think the islands are the most beautiful place I've ever seen.
Me too. Of course, I've seen nowhere else. But in truth, I've never wanted to.
Oh, there is a blessing in this gentle breeze that blows from the green fields and from the clouds.
You've a way with words, Miss Crine.
Oh, Wordsworth definitely does. He goes on, and from the sky, it beats against my
Better
cheek.
be careful, Miss Crine. These waves have a mind of their own.
Yes. I feel Wordsworth today. It's as if the sky itself is aware of how happy this place makes me. I can see why you remain here, Josh.
I don't believe this.
That was me.
You were right there. In front of me.
With Nora. I didn't remember her, Riley. And now it's just like that.
I think you took her to Little Rogue.
We need to set sail for Little Rogue.
See, I'm still thinking that he ended up having a thing with Nora and that Pixie is his daughter. I'm still getting that vibe, in my opinion. Very much still.
All set for Little Rogue?
Let's get this show on the road.
All right, going to a new island. I actually wasn't sure if we'd get to go to a different island. Well, I am quite excited about that. Yeah, I still... Does it say when I bought it? It just says the seller was Abelia Johnson, and the purchaser was Riley Sallow. Year of construction was 1995. I don't know if that's when I bought it, though. Okay, whatever. I wanted to see if maybe it would tell me stuff about, like, what is present day in this.
Little Rogue. I'm so excited. Can you see the lodge yet?
It's tucked away, up on the hill.
Let's go, Joshua.
My name's Josh.
Girl, what are you doing under there? Rogue.
That must be the stairs to the lodge. How do we get there?
We don't. We go around the back.
Damn!
Don't worry. Cordelia kept a spare key somewhere.
We'll find it.
Archie's. I like it here. This is the perfect place for a beer. Or a bloody smoke. Of course, I no longer have either. I can barely remember what they taste like. Gosh, a drink of any kind would be heaven right now. To make my brain stop for just like a minute. Make me feel normal, because you never shut it. Thank you. I should go back to the lodge. Go through those ledgers again. There's got to be something in there. That tart Cordelia, she was hiding something. Ah, so much for shutting it. No, I don't like her, and neither did you. Are you sure she doesn't have some brandy hidden away? Or some of that whiskey you keep talking about? Oh, that's a good idea. Thanks.
Is there anyone who does like Cordelia Crown?
Probably not.
You don't say. But the point is that this was Archie's place.
The gardener.
Alright. Can I look at the interior now? Or is that not a thing anymore?
The lodge. Like it's been
It
waiting
was an
for
option
me.
before. I want to go inside. I guess I gotta go a different way instead.
Such bizarre little creatures. I don't know if I'm charmed or appalled.
Go. Really are a bunch of these little things.
I think I expected something else entirely. More ornate walkways. Lavish galleries or something.
Oh, they had those. Up there. This mud and rock down here was just for us.
For the servants, you mean?
I'm not a servant, but yes. To remind us of our place.
Is this here where you lived? Little Rogue?
It feels familiar, but it wasn't my home.
Hope we can eventually go inside of that little area. Shin,
This place
hello.
gives me the chills.
I think it's pretty.
You always say that.
There's nothing wrong with seeing the world as a beautiful place.
The world? You said you didn't like the old world. That's why you left.
Well, maybe I do like the new world.
Ooh, there's a
I don't like
ghosty.
it. There's a strange vibration here that I don't care for.
I see a ghosty on the shore. We're gonna go see the ghosty. How are you doing though, Shin?
Is
Today's a
that
chill,
Beatrice there?
What is she doing here?
chill night.
Let's go talk to her.
I have to admit she frightens me a little too. It's like she doesn't feel anything. Always glowering over us like that.
She's just rock hard, is all. Sometimes you need to be.
And I will go back up because I want to go see the lodge.
Beatrice?
Oh, hello, Riley. That is your name, if I remember correctly.
Yes, that's my name.
Did you get rid of that ghost of yours yet?
We're working on it.
So very hard.
Shh, not now. Talking to Beatrice.
I see you found your way to Little Rogue.
Yes, I really want to find the lodge.
That's very clever. You will find answers there.
Can I ask you something personal?
By all means.
Why do you not trust my ghost?
I cannot see him. I cannot sense him. That is unusual, and it feels wrong.
Should I be afraid?
Riley!
Am I in danger?
That is for you to decide. I will tell you that it is you that will need to make him leave. It's the only way.
How can you be so sure?
Because I never wanted to leave either. I used to come to this very same beach. With my father, I think. I'd play here while he'd go up and talk to Archie. I don't know what they talked about. But they'd be up there for hours if they'd stocked up on enough whiskey. I have lost so many. I still miss the ones I loved most. And the ones that hurt me the worst. I cannot leave them.
You're the last one, Beatrice.
I know that. They've all been gone for so long. I forgot their names.
And yet, you do not want to go.
I do not. You never know. They might come back. You may leave me now. I will find you again.
And she's gone.
Why does she keep doing that?
She's a ghost, girl. Okay, I know I need to go that way eventually, but like I want to first see if I can go up into the lodge. Or did I just like mess myself up? I think I did. Okay, so I guess I do have to go this way because I can't go back up the steps. The passageway boarded up.
Wow, Josh, look at those wall paintings.
Selkies. I remember that story. I told it to Margot.
Margot. Tell me about her.
She was just a girl who hung about on the islands.
She felt lost to me.
Oh, that's the tree from the painting. Inside of, that guy's house.
Please stay.
You may want to come down from that tree, Miss Crine. It's unsafe.
Oh, but this is a solid branch. Why don't you come see for yourself? It's a new world from here.
Miss Crine,
Yes,
I'm glad you stayed.
that's awfully nice of you to say so. And I'm glad too.
Yeah, that's
Friends.
I wouldn't call it that.
he's
She was
Pixie's
just
dad.
being nice.
She wanted to see the world differently.
100%.
I want that. Knowing this can't go on forever.
What do you mean?
You'll be gone soon.
Riley.
Don't mind me. I'm being silly.
You are being silly, girl. Why? The only thing that's throwing me slightly for a loop is that, like, I personally don't understand why we just got put on this island, like, within the same day. And Riley went from hating this voice and wanting it out of her head to now, throughout this time, for some reason, like, almost feeling almost like she's like it almost has like a romantic vibe now, like she doesn't want him to leave her. And I don't, that's the part where I'm like, Riley, please put your head on straight. Like, what is going on? We have known this ghost for not even 24 hours yet. They hijacked your brain and now suddenly you're like, you're gonna leave me. Like, please leave me, Josh. It's bad enough I'm on a mandatory mystery.
I'm unsure what our next move might be.
We're heading for the big house, right?
That is where she lived, right?
I thought you liked Nora.
How can I like somebody I don't know?
Do you like me?
No. Putting on this
Not in the slightest.
to bother
You're a
him.
terrible liar.
I don't want to get carried away, is all. Like all the others that came before.
Riley, are you jealous?
No, because that would be ridiculous. Look, I'm not jealous, all right? I've said this before.
Doesn't mean it's true, though.
Hey, Riley, what is going on with you,
So,
girl?
this is Nora's house.
Her mother's.
Cordelia Crown.
But that's her window, up there. I remember her climbing out to go down to her tree.
Looks like it probably was a very pretty house when it was, you know, good.
The main entrance.
The only one Cordelia ever used. And she made very sure no servant ever did.
10th of November 1943. My sweet little Elfins. I'm sitting on old Cordelia Crown's porch, or what's left of it. She's been dead for a century now. Still, she makes me so mad. I wish I could yell, kick, and scream. The Crowns were so corrupt, and Cordelia Crown took her family for granted. She treated them so shabbily. But I suppose I treat you girls the same, don't I? I didn't value you enough to come home. I tell myself that I can't. That I'm afraid to see your shiny faces. That I have too much blood on my hands. But what if it's a lie? What if I am just like Cordelia Crown? Carrie hates such talk. She tells me I'm too hard on myself. That we all survive and do the best we can. But I don't know. When you make mistakes, you must pay your debts. And I can never make up for all my sins. But I did some good once upon a time. I helped create you. Oh, I've gone down the morose path again, didn't I? I shall sign off and leave you to happier thoughts. Your loving father.
He knew. He knew what she did.
We've got to pull our weight. Figure it out for ourselves.
Also, I hope that you guys can hear, like, the dialogue and the recordings and stuff like that. So if at any point you can't, do feel free to let me know. And I think after we do this house, we may be, stopping for the night. Oh, there goes the key.
A spare key.
To the boathouse.
Here we go.
Told you.
Dad.
She wrote to him.
But he wasn't here anymore. He chose not to be with her.
Dear Daddy, people say you are not coming home, but I do not believe them. Mom says we have to accept it, that you are gone. But every day she is on the cliff looking for you. I have put Tig on watch. He watches the shore while I am with Miss Jessup, so we do not miss you. Tig and I watch for you every day and every night. I do not know why you had to leave. I am afraid you left because of me. Mom says it ain't so, but I think it was me. If you come home, I will be the very bestest girl in the world. Mom pretends she is happy, but I know she is sad for you, Daddy. Please come home. I could read to you, and I could show you all the things I have found on our island. Tig and I will be waiting on the shore, Daddy. I miss you very much. Love, Pixie. I think it's Josh. I feel like Josh is her dad.
That's her parents?
The wedding.
But she wasn't even born yet.
That's how she must have imagined it.
I never understood backgammon.
Oh, that must be outside. So when I go outside, I can do that. Okay, we got a
Cordelia
ledger.
was in charge, obviously.
Oh yeah, we can see all the names. I'm surprised that of all of them, this is the only one that doesn't have a little read button. Usually everything has a read button on it. Oh. Oh, let me flip it. 1801-21. Part of me feels like I'm gonna need to remember that. I feel like I'm gonna need to remember it at some point. I'm gonna just put that.
Is
drop
this
that.
a code?
Oh, now?
6 figures.
Now they collected it? Okay.
Must be.
Because I was like, is it not gonna go into my notes? I got a little confused. Okay, let's look at some stuff because we missed some pages. Alright, we saw this. Gotcha, the key to the attic in the boathouse must be right. We'll know soon enough. Cordelia wasn't one to make any sudden moves. Trusted only herself. Kept her secrets safe. Pixie lit up her world. She must have. She loved her grandchild. I know this much. And the good we have the code now in there. Pixie was a brave one, clinging to the whisper of words never spoken. Nora never had a wedding like this. Choosing a life with him was the beginning of something new, but it wasn't a fairy tale because she fell in love with a servant. To think you love someone who doesn't love you back. I'm glad she was surrounded by so many that cherished her. This girl was fearless. Like, I'm convinced. I'm 100% convinced that, the dad was Josh. 100% convinced.
Is this?
About the smuggling, yes.
No way. Cordelia was involved?
Yep. Knew it. Knew it.
Her journal.
In the safe? Must have been real private.
23rd of October, 1820. It's getting colder. I've asked Archibald to light all the fires in the house. Still, I feel the chill in my bones. I think the devil himself would freeze in these bleak times. I want to take Nora back home with me, at least for the winter. This is no place for a newborn. Of course she won't have it. That stubborn girl is convinced this is her home. Can you believe, after all Mr. Crown and I have done for her, she thinks this place is better than our home on the mainland? Why? She doesn't know the first thing about living in a Croft house. She's too foolish, that's what. Her head filled with crazy romantic notions of nature walks. I blame Wordsworth and Coleridge. I should never have let her read those silly poems. Granted, I enjoy an adventurous walk myself. Nora and I used to go all the time when we first arrived, but I do not see the need to live out there like a wild woman. I told her I won't have it, that I am her mother, but she will not do as I tell her anymore, and all because of that wicked island boy, Swamp Trash. We never should have let him work the gardens. Does she think I don't know he's climbing through her window every day? I will not have it anymore. I will not lose my daughter to these rogue islands. Yep, it was Josh was with her. I'm pretty certain. I'm pretty certain it's Josh who's with her. And maybe like, ooh, maybe Josh was the one that set the fire? No. I mean, maybe. No, maybe.
She wrote to Pixie.
I'm telling you, Cordelia knows more than she lets on.
My sweet tea, it is with great sorrow. I write this letter with a troubled heart. The words do not come easily, but nonetheless, I must speak. It is time for you to know, understand, to see, to know. I wish you to learn the truth behind the unfortunate disappearance of your father. Know that what happened plagues me greatly, and that I will always regret what How does one tell their granddaughter that her father will never come back, and that she needs to stop I think Cordelia must have had she had to have been part of why Josh is dead. That's what I'm thinking. Now I'm not thinking as much that, like, maybe Josh was the cause of Cordelia's death. Because I feel like, yeah, I think Cordelia had a hand, I should say, in Josh's disappearance. Especially considering that she thinks he's swamp trash.
Children's books.
Anything else in here that I missed? Because sometimes I don't notice the little sparkliness after I walk past it.
That was definitely Cordelia's den. She confuses me.
She doesn't confuse me.
What she wrote in her journal? She seemed so vulnerable, like she was struggling.
With her conscience.
Yeah.
If she ever had one.
Let's just figure out what Cordelia Crown was all about, yeah?
Cordelia ain't confusing me too much.
Riley, stop. Look.
The captain braved the dark waters of the seven seas. Oh, what's that?
That's the baby,
What is she doing in there?
Told you.
fluttering around like a pixie.
She's putting up a fight, that's what. She's fighting off sea monsters in there.
I don't have sea monsters in there.
Hold it.
Our girl's braving the deep, dark waters.
You don't know it's a girl?
I do too. Fierce as a tiger, Captain Pixie will sail the seven seas. Swoosh! She'll brave storms, slay sea monsters.
You idiot. Oh no. Mother. Quick. The window.
I'll be back tomorrow.
Now she was pregnant and everything and still having him sneak.
How?
It can't be true.
Knew it.
I'm the bastard that abandoned them.
It's not true. It can't be. And I'm going to prove it.
See, it doesn't... I honestly don't think he abandoned them. I think even if he technically did leave, I'm getting the idea that he was forced to leave. Considering that, like, from the looks of it, they were not married. They were not supposed to be together. I mean, she's literally pregnant with his child, and she's still having him sneak back out through the window. And Cordelia quite literally called him swamp trash. So, like, she does not want him there. And if that's the case, then she probably wouldn't want him to marry her daughter, because she doesn't want her daughter to seem, I guess, lesser than from the way that she probably sees it. So there's no way he would be able to stay. Either Cordelia killed him, or she like forced him to leave.
She wanted nothing more than a home for the three of us. I was building her a house. Linden Breeze on Big Rogue.
What did she want with this?
A skull that is not going to prove anything.
No, but it's fascinating. Like an exploration of life. Or death. Her journal. Let's see what she wrote about you.
October 15th of 1820. Autumn's finally here again. This may be my favorite time of year. I can dance for hours in that earthy, sweet wind, twirling the brown and red leaves all around me. Mother won't have it, of course, but life on the islands is like a dream. So many wondrous things to discover. The endless treasures on the beach, the sight of painted ships making shore, the sun rising from beneath the waves in the early hours of the morning. Things I only knew from my storybooks. This place is so different from the mainland. This place I can truly call home. Speaking of home, our house on the beach is nearly done. Josh really has worked hard and long hours. Pretty soon, he won't have to climb through my bedroom window anymore, which will be a relief. I don't know how much longer we can fool Mother. She's rarely fooled by anything, so she must know. I'm amazed she's not cast him out. I'm amazed she's not cast him back out that same window. I'm sure she'd love to. Just a few more weeks, then we can head off and really begin the rest of our lives together. Nora. So yeah, so they were planning to run away together.
That was
Shells of the
Nora.
sea.
She loved every little thing about the rogues. She'd be out on the beach looking for unusual shells, or rocks in bright colors. I made this. I made this for my daughter.
Alright. Make sure I haven't missed anything. Well, I still did mix. No, I didn't miss everything. I was like, I missed something. But now it's there. So that's good. I think she was lonely. Embracing that piece of her newfound freedom and making the journey here, she thought she was going to see these new seeds grow. She never thought she'd lose her daughter in the process. If only she could have seen that none of us were truly alone. Here's a wild side of Cordelia Crown. What fire must have burned inside of her? Was she afraid? Or would she have stopped at nothing? Did anybody know about her smuggling business? Her husband? Josh? The disappearance of her father? What did she know? What secret did she not tell? I feel like I'm missing something on this page. I'm definitely missing something on this page, I feel like. Nora's bedroom. She wasn't afraid to believe, though I shudder to think how she will never find the happiness she thought she was getting. I admire her strength, her faith. They stood strong. Though Cordelia did not approve, she moved in a new direction. She left her mother and became who she wanted to be. I like to believe that's what I did, that I stepped into my truth. I can see why she loved it so much out here. Though it's spring now, I can see these lands covered with a veil of snow. I can picture mud-caked boots kicked off in the entrance hall, and I see how the cliffs shelter these shores from destructive winds. This is the promise he made to them. Josh would never have backed down. He wanted to be her father. Yeah, he did. That part is obvious. Want to peek and make sure there's nothing else. Okay, cool.
This room alone tells me you loved them. You didn't abandon them. You could never.
Alright. Okay, I see the loading on the side, which is good. Because I think that is actually where we're going to stop tonight. I feel like we'll probably end up finishing this on Monday. Next Monday when we play. I feel like it's quite close to done. I don't know how close to done. So what I will do... Sorry, I was going over my cord by accident. So what I probably will do... I'm actually going to go to the main menu. And I'm very much hoping that, like, it really did save, because I saw the loading screen. Like, the save screen thing go up. And what I'm gonna do is we're gonna swap screens. And whatnot. that we can do all of our ending stuff. But yeah, I think that we will more than likely finish it next week on Monday. And what I'll do, just in case, because I don't know if it's an hour left or 2 hours left or 3 hours left, I will make sure to have another game ready to go after. I wish that I knew that like Next Fest was today, because I would have probably planned to play some demos for you guys. But I'll probably, if I get the time, I'll probably check out some demos on my own instead. But yeah, I think we're gonna end off there. I feel like that's a good spot to end. I'm kind of excited to see what happens. Now we know that, and we know who Josh is, at least. We just have to figure out how he disappeared, but we know who Josh is. I'm very happy because I called it. So now we know that Josh is Pixie's dad, and that he was with Nora. He wasn't married to Nora. Or at least, or maybe he was technically. Maybe they did actually get away, because he did build that house, and Nora did have the wedding ring inside of her home, like the home that they built. So I'm assuming that they technically did get married, or at least he gave her the ring. So we just have to figure out what happened then to Josh, because that means that Josh did leave eventually, or, you know, got killed, or whatever it is. Something happened to Josh. But we also know that Josh disappeared before Cordelia passed. Because Cordelia passed in 1833, and Cordelia wrote the letter, was trying to write a letter to her granddaughter about the disappearance of her father. So Cordelia was still there, and I suspect that Cordelia had a hand in Josh's disappearance, just like how obviously Cordelia was part of the smuggling business, which is why probably Callum was allowed to continue to do stuff and was able to get off the hook so often, because he was working in cahoots with Cordelia. And that is why, more than likely, Cordelia, what was it, like 2 years or 3 years before her death, went to the priest at like 4 o'clock in the morning wanting to confess to her sins, because she was part of the smuggling business. And now we also know that more than likely she is the cause of the disappearance of her daughter's lover and her granddaughter's father. So that's already 2 big things, because we know that like Father, what was his name? Like Father Thomas was like, oh my goodness, the confessions that this woman gave, like I can't even believe that someone as virtuous and nice as she could do such a thing. So it had to be something wild that Cordelia did, aka she was the culprit of the smuggling into the Rogue Islands all along, and she murdered and or exiled her granddaughter's father from the island and all that jazz. So, but at least now we know Josh is real. And we also now know that we know who Sephiroth is, which is also the person who's been leaving all of these like notes for his daughters. And we know that he was doing that because one, he was going through, I think, PTSD from the war, and it seems like didn't feel like he was allowed to have a normal life, but also he got stuck with Josh's spirit in his head. And I think he was the first one to have Josh's spirit stuck with him. So he held on to it like a duty, as if like this, I have to help this poor soul reach over. And instead of going back to his children, he dedicated the rest of his life to trying to help this spirit cross over. And he couldn't finish it, which is why then I think his daughter probably, or some other poor person, the lady who also is leaving cassettes, she ended up getting Josh's spirit after, I think, the other guy's death. And more than likely, I'm assuming either Margot left the island or died on the island. I'm thinking she died on the island. Margot probably died on the island, and then when she died on the island, Josh was stuck. Like, his spirit was stuck there again until another live host could be there to help him survive. Because so far, nobody on this island is alive. Like, we are the only living person on this island, because everybody that's been there has either evacuated back in the 80s, like the regular 1980s, or they have all died. Like, they all died like decades ago. So it's nice to see you streaming tonight. Thank you. I'm happy that you guys seem to be enjoying the game and stuff, because it's definitely almost like a mystery. It's an indie game. Yeah, I'm calling some of the stuff, but sometimes it's fun when, like, they leave enough that you can kind of figure it out already, and then it's, like, proved to you. Sometimes I hate when, like, games or even stories, like, they do all this stuff to lead up to it, and they put all these hints and stuff, and then you're like, yeah, I know that's it. And then they go the complete opposite direction. They just go and put something out and from left field just because they purposely are upset that maybe people might be able to figure it out, and they want to make sure that, like, nobody figures it out, and then it doesn't make sense anymore. So at least it seems like things make sense, and I don't mind that. Oh, hey Styles, how are you doing? How have you been? But yeah, so I'm excited to see though how this ends up ending. Yeah, because we already know that, like, obviously the end all be all of everything is that everybody dies. We know that, but I'm curious to see how exactly Josh ended up disappearing, and I'm still curious to see how exactly Cordelia died, because I still feel there's two options. There's either there was foul play in Cordelia's death, because they did say that the drawing room was locked from the outside and not the inside, which could mean that there was a fire that was set and other people locked them in. But then there's also still the possibility that maybe the fire was set accidentally from inside of the room, because they were doing their smuggling business, and one of the reports of an arrest for Cullum specifically said that his apparatus for his distillation for his liquors got set on fire in his small hut from before when he was doing it, and the whole entire, like, building caught on fire. So my first thought was that maybe while they were doing their smuggling business and they were distilling their whiskey, maybe their apparatus caught on fire, and that made the entire room go into flames and cause the terrible fire, because there was so much liquor and alcohol in there already that then when the apparatus exploded or caught flame, everything lit up, you know? So those are my two thoughts for Cordelia's death, because she only was 51, and from what we can tell, it doesn't seem like she was actually sick. Like, yeah, like, yeah, Father Thomas was like, I think she's got the sickness, but I don't think she actually had the sickness. It seems more like it was a foul play type of thing. Plus, on top of it, I'm wondering how, like, even though I know that they said that Archie died of alcoholism, like he drank himself to death, something feels a little foul with that too, because we also know that Archie was, I think, living in the boathouse and was kind of like, maybe not in cahoots, but he, I think, worked for the Crowns as well. And considering that Cordelia was distilling whiskey and making whiskey and selling it illegally, something for some reason about that feels a little foul to me, with the fact that Archie was also on the premises all the time, which means Cordelia could have been giving him all this liquor constantly. Who knows? I know that most of the time he was intoxicated inside of, like, the Black Bell or whatever, but I don't know, I'm still wondering what's going on with the Archie situation, especially because we know, like, let's be honest, we know for a fact that Cordelia is smuggling stuff. Let's be real. We know that that's happening. So I am curious to see how that's going on. And I don't know yet how the story with the ghost of Beatrice is going to go, but we will see. Off of the PC. No PC for you. No PC. You can't be on my PC. I'm sorry, girly. I know you're upset, but you can't be on my PC. You can whine all you want. But yeah. So those are my thoughts. Next stream, there is a possibility that I may not be able to do stream on Wednesday. It is 50-50. I may have cramps, but also if I don't have cramps, I might just be tired because I do have actual like work I gotta get done on Wednesday. So that will be tentative if we do have a stream. Thank you for deciding to sit in front of me on my desk, girly. But yeah, so Wednesday will be tentative because I might not get to stream on Wednesday, but I might be able to. But Friday should definitely be a stream day. I should definitely be able to play Steel Rising this coming Friday, which will be good. So I think that is everything to let you guys know about. Oh, also, FYI, I did put out my February newsletter. So for anybody who would like to be able to get emails of my newsletter, you can feel free to sign up. But also, if you do ever want to just kind of check out my newsletter before signing up, like maybe you've been interested in seeing how those updates look in the newsletter before you decide to sign up, I have gotten into the habit of posting my newsletters in my Ko-fi. So if you would like to check out that, you can always go into my Ko-fi, and there is a link to my newsletter that I just put out today. That will be happening from now on every month. Newsletter will always be posted to my Ko-fi as well. And then if you do want to have it to your email instead, you can always sign up and feel free to do that. Anything else to let you guys know about? As always, my commissions are open. You can feel free to check those out. And last thing to let you guys know about is I am planning to get my next video up on Saturday for my art channel. So you can always feel free to check out my YouTube and whatnot, because I'm starting that stuff. But yeah, that should be everything that I needed to cover for you guys. So let me actually figure out who we're gonna go raid. Sprinkle, thank you. I'm happy to see you. I know it's end of stream, but I'm still gonna give you a shout out because of course I am. You can't stop me. Okay, so let's see who we're gonna raid. I feel like Happy like just started, so let me see how long Happy's been going on for. Because I will probably raid Happy if I can. You've been lurking? Cool, cool. Hopefully everybody, I think everybody's been enjoying the game. I hope you guys have. It's definitely story-based, but sometimes I really enjoy the stories. Oh, also, small update, just so that you guys know what's going on and whatnot. On the 27th, I believe, on Monday, on my Indie Mondays, on the 27th, I am going to get the opportunity to play a visual novel. I was given a code for a visual novel, which isn't actually going to come out until March. Well, no, where are you going? Where are you going? A visual novel that won't be out until March 3rd, and it is made by a duo of I believe Black and Indigenous women of color. So yeah, if you want to check that out, I will be playing that. It's called Bella Automata, and I'll be playing that on the 27th at our usual time. I'm gonna try to start on time though, at 6 o'clock on the 27th on Monday. So you can feel free to check that out if you want. I will of course put out another update. It is also inside the newsletter in case you do read it. That will be in there so that you can get your update about certain stream things whenever I find them out. So on that note, we are going to go over and show Happy some love. So let me get the raid set up so that we can go and raid Happy. Alrighty. get the raid message in there while my cat is in my way, because that's what she does. I'm gonna copy it too so that I don't forget it. Perfect. Okay. So yeah, but thank you guys so much for hanging out with me, and especially thank you for chilling and enjoying the story and just, you know, hanging out and whatnot, listening to articles and listening to dialogue and whatnot. I'm very excited to see how this ends. I feel like it's gonna end next time I play. I feel like we're gonna finish it next time. But either way, thank you guys for hanging out with me. I really appreciate it. I hope that you guys have a good rest of your night or a good rest of your day or whatever time it is. And I will see you either on Wednesday or on Friday. Definitely Friday, but 50-50 about Wednesday. But I will see you when I see you. So yeah, peace. Good night.